2 viewers, not much. He needs 4 more. All right, he needs to get 4 more views. Once he could accumulate 4 more views, I can pull him up, but he needs to get that 4. So if you guys in the live here could help him across there to match my viewers as in the number, that would be grateful. That's not going to be good. Offline. All right. Remember.
Hey Tantra, I'm not gonna lie. I tried to figure it out.
So to be able to go live with me as a co-host, you had to match my viewers.
Oh, that's what's crazy. Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, hold on one second. All right, man.
Yeah. Oh, namaskar, how are you, my bro?
Namaskar, Natinanam. I'm good.
This is going to be interesting. We seem to have a feedback.
I was excited because I seen everybody else's roundtable experience, and so it's like you know when you kind of just like wait around long enough and you're like, oh, I'm worthy. You know, it's kind of like, oh man, people want to hear. So that's always a great thing. And just getting to hear people's stories.
Yeah. That was the concept I came up with. Because we had a lot of practitioners, a lot of individuals who were doing stuff, not just Hinduism, but other walks of life. And I wanted to be able to sit in them, to have discussion and introduce them to my followers and a brighter, broad-based universe than what we may call the community.
Yes.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
All right, this is what. I'll have to drop you and bring you back up because there's an echo.
Oh, echo. Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
So
here, I got you. Is that any better?
Are you hearing me better? Still there's echo.
Still? Here, let me...
This is interesting. This is weird. Let's see if this works. All right. Seems to be all better. All right. That actually is better.
All right, cool.
So you're hearing lovely. So yeah, it was something that I just had a thought about, and my friends Gigi, who's one of my moderators and one of my best and closest friends on TikTok, she gave me the name for the round table. And Pika, I talked to Pika the same night and she gave me the graphics. So the graphics, that's all Pika.
Oh.
So this was what I wanted. The concept was to really be able to sit down because there was so much great minds and individuals that were doing work about spirituality, not just Hinduism. We had Hinduism aspect. So there was so much great minds doing stuff that I wanted to sit down with them because why? I may have followers who are Hindus in aspect, but they are following or acknowledging other parts. So venerating different aspects of worship, and to be able to sit with people that is connected to that particular aspect of worship that they venerate or acknowledge, and people talk about their journey, their life, and where and how that came about, would have helped them to understand better with what they was going to what they were acknowledging. And every person had some sort of hit a plateau or had some obstacles, via discussion, it would have helped them to understand, okay, if this is happening, you can do this, you can do that, and so forth. Because there are people that are not just one path. They may people that follow a variety of different paths.
Yeah.
So you
100.
have that an aspect. So because okay, basic, and I forgive me that we are kind of a little off, but I love that this is going organic how I wanted it to go in nature, and not as how I normally script it. Is that in Hinduism, when people think about Hinduism or Sanatan Dharma, the first thing comes to them is actually what we may call Vishnava worship, or that, or what was in the worship of Lord Vishnu, or what we may call the Hare Krishna movement. So they think about that aspect of worship. When you tell them about the aspect of a Shivat or Devi or Shakta worship, they're like, they're confused. It's like, I thought Hinduism was, no, like, no, they're different sectors. Hinduism is broad-based, and nothing else is broad-based, but they're different sectors, right? So when you start explaining them to that, it's like, okay, did not know this. And then you go to the aspect of the different types of rituals and so forth. It becomes very complex for them. So this is what I wanted to be able to do in that aspect, to sit with them in aspect. So you, my brother, were highly, the minute it didn't make it 48 hours when I created this, your name was in the first five.
Oh man.
Your name was in the first five. And to actually make you go into that, like that awe moment, I know there's a person that you cherish very much and you honor him by calling him Bhagwan, and we all know who that person is. His name was right above yours.
Rightfully so.
All right.
Rightfully so.
So,
Absolutely.
all right. So let's get into it. Let's start it off. All right. Vanakkam, everyone. Namaste or Sitaram, and welcome to another edition. Welcome to the sixth edition of the Roundtable, where my guest today, it is a man that I have watched for a few months doing his stuff, crafting his own path and being genuine, being the person he is, not necessarily following anyone, but more or less doing what he has been led to by his spirit and his heart and by his devotion. I I was moved by what he does and how he does his stuff and the way he speaks and aspect, um, to ask him to be a part of this, because why? You, Plain Talk Bad Manners, you are the official first Hindu person of Sanatan Dharma, besides myself, to actually be on the round table. You're the first. Right? You're the
Oh,
first person. Yeah, you're the first. All right? But, not going to be the last, or you're the first of many. All right?
yep.
I think we met on Jordan's live, because I
Yes.
think Jordan has brought me up. You came in. There was some discussion. Jordan asked me to break. Oh, there was a discussion between you and Bob, you and brother Bob,
Yes.
and I came in because Jordan asked me to touch on it, and I broke down whatever both of you were trying to explain, and all I can remember when I came off, when I just kind of popped out, all I can remember hearing you ask the rest of them, like, where did you guys found him? And it's like, why? You said, I have never heard anyone break things down in that aspect and explain it in so much degrees. It was like, where did he come from, dude? This guy is speaking, he's breaking down, he's reciting. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. Right?
Yes. I
And it's
remember
from that
that.
and it's from that point, I think you followed me in that same live, and then I started to follow you. All right. So my guest today is known by Blissful Awakening. There are those who know him by the name, who knows him personally by the name of Josh. So today we're going to dive into, who's Blissful Awakening? Who's the person behind the profile? Your upbringing? How did you come into Sanatan Dharma? and all these different things that a lot of people have been wondering, seeing this individual, Blissful Waking, doing his stuff. And, he's so proud to be of Sanatan Dharma, be who he is. So let us start off an aspect, one, hit it running. Who is the person behind Blissful Awakening? Who's that person? What is his upbringing? How, where did he grow up, and his background?
Okay. So I'm the fourth child of three older sisters, and my parents, they were in their early 40s when they had me, and Navy family, living in Yokosuka, Japan at the time.
Right.
About 1 year old, we ended up moving to Indian Head, Maryland, where I lived on a Air Force base.
Right.
It was really beautiful. Lived on a golf course. Officer privileges because
Nice.
my dad was high ranked,
All
and he
right.
was a captain.
Thank you for his. If is he still alive?
Yes,
Tell him that I said thank you for his service.
I definitely will. In fact, I can show you guys this.
All right. Yeah. Go ahead.
My dad actually gave that to me in his retirement ceremony with his
Beautiful.
flag, and then he's wearing the white uniform.
Mm-hmm.
I was, I believe I was 14 or 15 at the time. That was in 2010. But anyway, lived on the Air Force base. Loved it. Got to see deer. Got to be around nature, and I can really remember that house, like my room and everything else. And I was so young that was one of the majority of the time I would have spent a lot of time with my sisters, because there was a 12 years age gap. 12 to 15.
Mm-hmm.
So we moved from Indian Head, Maryland to Cape May, New Jersey.
Right.
This would have been about 2001. Yeah, 2001. We lived there, which was actually kind of crazy because my dad was Navy, but we were living on a Coast Guard base. I loved it there. More nature, lived on the beach. I remember putting we would take the pine cones, put peanut butter seeds, and like bird seeds on it, and then we just like hang it up in the trees.
Right.
And just, I love those memories, because it was just kind of like just feeling most in touch with myself. And couple years after that, my sisters would have went to college. Moved to Suffolk, Virginia,
Uh-huh.
where my parents bought their first house, and spent a good majority of my time there from first grade to third grade, then moving to Okinawa, Japan. And then that was my first like real memory of living in Japan. And so I stayed there from it would have been half of the ending of third grade all the way up to fifth grade. And then I would have moved back to where I was born, which was Yokosuka, Japan.
All right. Cool.
And so
One
that's
thing.
where,
One thing before you continue, and I do forgive me, I do apologize. During the live, I may have to leave you for about 5 minutes.
that's okay.
No, because I ordered an office chair for my studio, for my thing, and the guy will be calling and out to say for direction. So do apologize if I stop you in between, and just go to collect the chair at the front gate.
Tandra, where's my new chair, dude? I've had this since like 2018.
I wanted one. The one I ordered is it's a gaming chair / office chair.
Okay.
It does massages. It has the RBG with the lights, all these different things.
Oh dang, dude. All right. As long as I get to peep it when you get back. But
No, well,
yeah,
it's not. It's in a box. I gotta assemble it. If you come back this evening, because I'm going live Sitaram, everyone. I'm going live tonight at 7 o'clock to do spiritual discussion / open mic. Open mic is where everybody can ask me questions about Sanatan Dharma and so forth.
Yeah.
Tonight I will unveil it because I'll have it. So I don't want to cut you off. So continue. My apologies.
So no, perfect. So then that was my actual experience of remembering where I was born. Because I would have been just starting in 10th grade, and that I believe was really the beginning of who you see today,
All right.
because at that time in my life, like, I still was very much Christian and whatnot, but it was because I left. If I never left Japan, I probably never would have had the experience that I did. And a lot of people call it different things. They know it by different names, but
Right.
I call it the dark night of the soul. And I don't believe that there's ever a wrong time or a right time. It is a time. That's the only thing I know.
Yes.
And it will happen many times in your life, not just one time. It's many times, it's a series. And so this first time that I can really remember was because I moved from where I felt the most safe, most stable, most me, most certain about life. And then I'm being pushed out of that. And I'm thinking in some way, shape, or form that, okay, this move is just going to be like it always was. I'm going to leave and I'm going to make friends and I'll find, what I like about this place. And, it'll just be like it always has been. But
Understandable.
and just for the fact that I lived there before. So that was also another thing I was kind of looking forward to, but it wasn't the same. It really sucked. It sucked and I hated it. I remember it just being the worst move that I ever went through. And it just made me, it really made it, I felt almost as like I left a whole part of myself where I was living in Japan, and I just kind of like was a body. It was a very strange time for me because I don't really talk about it even because it was so. It's kind of like when you get like you're shocked, like you have a shocked feeling,
Yeah.
almost like a trauma victim. Like you have like this shock feeling. You just don't feel like yourself anymore. And and I try to use religion as a way of helping me through that, like prayers and going to church and listening to sermons and all that. And I will admit, my dad is a good preacher. I will explain that. But it was just the fact that they just felt like words, and sometimes it was almost like no matter how inspiring the words or the message was, they were meaningless. Because if I can't get out of where I'm at mentally, emotionally, spiritually, then what is the purpose behind it? There really isn't. And so I had a lot of guilt because I was like, why am I not able to get out of what I'm feeling? Well, it must be because I'm doing something wrong. But then I think a higher self told me that no, that's not true. That you by yourself, if you're doing exactly what you're told to do and it's not working, then maybe what you were taught was wrong. Those teachings were wrong. And so that was what made it's like an epiphany. Something like switched in me that was completely different before, and it said that basically everything that you were taught is not useful, and that you're gonna have to deconstruct. I'm 14 years old. I don't know what deconstruction is. I don't know anything else other than what I've been taught. So what else is there? And to not look for another religion, just you need to reset what you've been believing, and
Yeah.
you need to go your own way. So, and whatever that is. But I did feel that I missed Japan so much that I never really appreciated Buddhism, even going to the temples and seeing the giant
Uh-huh.
Buddha. So I kind of started there just to see what was I missing, and do I feel a connection to where I was living? You know, because that might be the closest thing I can ever get to. And what I realized was is that just by reading Buddha's message, his teachings, it was like answers were like all the answers were just coming out of nowhere. And I'm just left with, why didn't anybody teach me this? And then you start realizing, well, they just didn't know. And so, and not only did they not know, they weren't interested. And they, you, when you're seeking for something, you have to be a certain level of, you have to be determined.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're not determined, there's no way that you're going to arrive to anything. And whether that's through a religion or whether that's through your own personal growth, both are still one and the same, because it's going to change you in some way. In some way, even if you
Yes.
don't practice it like 100%, like to a T, it still does change you. But anyway, so I'm reading Buddhist teachings and everything is making sense. And the biggest things that I was really struggling with at that time was anger that I had and resentment. And a lot of it had to do with my dad, because I felt like I was just tired of moving, and it wasn't really his fault, but at the same time it was more like I just can't keep going through this. So a lot of that anger was at him. And it was at myself, because you as a 14-year-old kid, you don't know how to process emotions. So a lot of it was also directed at myself for feeling the way I do and not knowing what to do about it.
Right.
And then the other thing was letting go. So not only was I experiencing the anger, but I let that go. And I was able to really perceive, why am I angry for the first time? And if you're angry, what does that actually do to you? And how does that either make your life better or make it worse? Because sometimes it feels good to be angry, because you get to outburst, you get to lash out, right? Sometimes
Yes.
people like to do that. And sometimes you don't want to be angry, because it's just more harmful to you than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, after all those teachings that I read from the Buddha, which was the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path of Enlightenment, and just some other short things, at that time I would have started listening to Osho. I would have listened to Ajahn Brahm. So people who know, like, the goats,
Mm-hmm.
you guys know them. And this is really early on. It actually impresses me still. But so after that, my parents, I knew that they weren't going to be accepting, because I've lived with them for my whole life. So I knew that they were going to be out one Saturday, and they were going shopping, and something within me just felt like it was the time to just sit and meditate. So there was a computer desk beside the couch in the living room, and I just turned on the computer. I went on YouTube. There wasn't a lot of things that I could have used back in those days, so I only had what I had. But there were some certain frequency sounds that I found, and it was a guided meditation for each chakra. And I still remember it. The voice was so soothing and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I was like real settled down. This is my first time meditating. And just step by step, I can just remember, like, I'm just sitting in myself, and I don't, like, nothing's happening. Like, nothing's happening, nothing, supernatural, right? But I do feel a sense of, oh, okay, this is what this is like. It was kind of like a peace that you don't get too often.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like when you want something like really sweet for yourself, but you've been busy,
Yeah.
and you really want to treat yourself. It was a really new experience where I've never really sat in silence, where I know there's no one around and I'm not doing anything, but I'm just being aware. And so the first video would end. This is how old YouTube was at the time. The video would end. I had to grab the mouse and then click the other video and then do the same thing over. And I'm doing this 7 times. And the video was probably about 35 minutes. So I'm doing
Right.
yeah, I'm doing this for a while. But then something happens by the seventh chakra. And by the end of that video, all I can remember is that I feel all this energy, this crazy amount of energy that I've never experienced before. And it was completely blissful. It was it was so intense, but so subtle that like I was just looking at my hands and I was just like, what is this energy that I'm experiencing right now?
Hmm.
And then in my Ananda Gunda, I just like my inner space, I just heard you're here to be enlightened. And so even then I didn't know what enlightenment was. I would have read some things about Buddha's enlightenment, but
Right.
I still don't know what that is. But I said, hey, if it feels like this, I want it. That's what I said to myself. And so that was what really started my journey. A couple, maybe a few months after that, I found the Bhagavad Gita in my drawer.
Right.
And I was like, Dad, who's Krishna? And he doesn't tell me much about him, but that made me more interested. He was trying to discourage me, but it actually drove my curiosity. And every step by step, I found my guru around 16, 17.
Uh-huh.
And it was about past life regression. I went to college. I was probably about, I would have been 21 at this time.
Uh-huh.
And I was watching a video on levitation. Now, kind of between 17 and 21, I really haven't been on the path. I know the things that I know, but I'm not practicing nothing, right? I kind of, in some way, shape, or form, it kind of stunted my growth in spirituality. But I get back to it and I'm curious. I see this video on past, it went from past life regression. Now I'm
Uh-huh.
on to levitation. So I see this video on levitation. And it's a really great video. Everybody's like levitating and having like these experiences. And I'm like, man, that would be cool. I'm trying to fly. Like that's what I was trying to do. I'm not even gonna lie. I was literally interested in flight. So at the end of the video, there was like all these list of names at the end. And out of all these like 15 names, I only picked one name. And so it was Deborah Chance. I'm sure she wouldn't mind if I called her out like that. And so I always call her Bala though. Her spiritual name is Balananda.
Okay.
So
Nice.
yeah, very beautiful spiritual name. So I always call her Bala. And I find her on Facebook. I reach out to her and I'm like, hey, I seen you in this levitation video. I'm very very interested to know like how this all works. And so, I reach out, I talk to her, and it's Bala, so she takes like 2 weeks to respond to me. And she's like, oh, how did you learn about Swamiji and this and that? I'm like, I don't know who Swamiji is. I'm trying to fly. I'm trying to learn how to levitate. And she was like,
And
well, we have a webinar like a week after this, if you can make it. And she said, well, how far are you from High Point? At the time, I was living in Danville because that's where I was going to college. I was only an hour and 15 minutes away.
uh-huh.
And that one thing, that one experience mattered so much to me because she could have been anywhere in the world. It just so happens to be that she was in High Point, and it just so happened to be I was in Danville. So like the timing was just too insane. Like you can't ignore your life's path. So I'm excited. I shaved my whole head off. You guys will
Coach,
never ever see that again. And you never will. And you didn't see it, so it's just never gonna happen. But you guys can imagine it. I'm sure there's a filter I could use. But you guys know how much I love my hair. But I shaved it because I wanted to kind of start fresh. It was a moment of a new beginning for me. And I could feel it. I could feel that intensity. I go to High Point. I meet everybody at this seminar, and it was so great because I realized that the same Swamiji she was talking about was the same
right.
Swamiji I was trying to find, who ended up I
Beautiful.
professed as my guru a couple months later. Because Swamiji says, if you can forget about him, he's not your guru. If you can't forget about him, he is your guru. So I could never forget about him. And that was the thing that really drove it home. And there was a lot of things that he said and things in my life that I can say guru was always there for me. But after all these experiences, and we could talk about a lot of the like Shaktis or a lot of, what people perceive as powers that's happened
Yeah.
to me or I've experienced. But I don't want to keep talking about all the good things, because I think that sometimes like people hear all these stories and they're like, oh man, like that's amazing. But like
Uh-huh.
there was a lot of pain from like 14 to even now. There's a lot of pain, you know, because I don't feel like people really get to see that enough. There are personal people in my life that, express those things too, but there was a lot of pain, grief from leaving Japan, where I was born, and moving back, had all these amazing experiences. Um, Moving to Suffolk back there, where I don't really feel like I fit in. I don't really feel like these are my people. This is my tribe. I don't even feel like we're in the same world. I was used to military brats, and now I'm in a place where, you know, people ask me, "Hey, you're from Japan. Do you speak Chinese?" Like, like the level of intelligence just wasn't there for me, and
Uh-huh.
and just communication and feeling like community, it wasn't there. And even after I had my Kundalini experience, I was still wanting a community. I said to myself, how great would it have been if I was around a bunch of people that were doing this just all the time? And then TikTok was born. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is that I had so much pain with grief and moving and never feeling like I could just settle down somewhere. I've always had to learn how to adapt. I'm very much like a single cell organism. It's just
Mm-hmm.
always trying to look for, okay, this is gonna unalive us. All right, we
Right.
gotta adjust, pivot, and then and then
Understandable. Very much
sometimes
understandable.
sometimes you can't just pivot. Sometimes, like sometimes you really got to almost like drown a little bit, and it's been very painful. It's been a very painful thing, and most of it has always been alone. Like I didn't always have my sisters. I didn't always have the rest of my family. I didn't always have my friends, because sometimes, it's either I moved or they moved.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then even going to college, I didn't know anybody in those towns until I made friends. So then there's a loneliness. So there's all these moments in my life where it's almost like people almost feel like your spirituality will just like remove all those things for you. It can be a great tool for us to utilize, but we cannot escape from being a human being. Like that's one thing that I've learned is like all those painful experiences were so necessary, because it's almost like a lobster. Like it needs to know that this shell can't fit anymore in order for it to break free from it and grow or reattach a new one.
Right.
And that's the only way you're going to grow as a person. And anybody who remains consistent, it's almost like you're not growing as a person. So what I would have said like maybe 5 years ago, it's going to be different from what I say today. And it's just
Yes.
because of experiences. And so it's all those great things and all those dark times as well that's made me who I am.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I admit, I love that you have gone back deep within your upbringing, your where you were born and so forth. So let's dive more now into your spirituality. What, you know, what are you mainly into? You spoke about Buddhism and all and so forth. You spoke about being born into a Christian background and so forth, which, you know, these days, forgive me for saying this at this point, the Abraham religion right now gets a lot of criticism. It gets a lot of bashing from a lot of people. Um, no, for me, it's kind of wrong because it's the individuals in the faith, not the faith itself. It's
Yes.
the individuals that are acting out.
Yeah.
I mean, we see it all over TikTok. People are trying to do their lives, trying to talk about spirituality, and you will have people come in, and you're not sure these are literally those individuals from that faith. It can be people pretending just to stir up some sort of controversy or hatred or something like that between two different faiths and aspects.
Yeah.
So I love that you talked about that because I saw a lot of people didn't know that aspect. Similar to me, I was born a Hindu. I was born to a Vaishnava mother. My dad was a Shakta, but my family had Christians. So I grew up. Hold 1 second. Good morning. Yes, yes, yes. What's up, location? Uh, no problem. Yeah. Do. Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, you're okay, brother.
So yeah, as I was saying, yeah, I had Christians in my family, and my dad did not allow us not socialize with them. He allowed us to socialize with them. He allowed me to go to church, understand go Sunday school, and understand what Christianity was, because he did not want us to be prejudiced nor mock someone else's religion. Be it we may have been ridiculed. I growing up, a lot of people would ask us about the different devas and so forth that we worship. Why one looks like a monkey? Why does one wear a lot of snakes? Why they have so many hands? And all these basic questions that you will get growing up as a child. And you may not be able to answer because you're now learning too. But he
Yeah.
didn't want us to make a mockery or become prejudiced to any faith. He wanted us to be respectable in all that aspect. So he allowed us to understand what was Christianity. And I grew up watching Kings of Kings. I grew up watching, Ten Commandments with Charlton Heston. I
Yeah.
have those.
With
Jesus of Nazareth.
Charles Heston.
Yeah, I grew
Yeah.
up. I actually
Yeah.
have that on a hard drive that I watch so every often. So I grew up watching those movies. Those movies have impacted me very much. One of the best part from Ten Commandments is when Moses had to choose from the when he was in the desert and he had to choose from the seven daughters, right?
Mhm.
The eldest daughter who became his wife, she told her, and she was comparing herself to Nefertiti. She told Moses one profound line is that sometimes nothing from someone is more than gold from others, and that has always stood with me till this day. It was so
Mm.
profound. So I love the idea that you mentioned that particular background because we get to realize, okay, there's much more to people than what we project. There's
Yes.
much more to our foundation, our infrastructure. So now I want you to tell me about your journey as now that we have talked about Christianity, we talked about the aspect of Buddhism being a factor in your life too, and an inspiration. Now let's get into your into Sanatan Dharma, that particular journey to where you are now, because that for me is going to be so profound because you and I are going to have a discussion on this live. So take it
So
from there. How did Sanatan Dharma more or less became more of a substance for you?
oh man. So to backtrack just slightly,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
when
Okay.
when I had my Kundalini experience, it was at a point where I knew Buddha didn't leave anything else. So I'm having to walk this path strictly alone at this point. It already felt alone when I was deconstructing. It
Uh
felt
huh.
even lonelier when you felt like you found something that was like, like when you're going bowling and you have your bumpers, so
Yes.
it's on the right track. It can't go in the hole, right? But at the
True.
same but at the same time, it was like I I kind of almost felt like I didn't know what I was doing again. And so I'm meditating, I'm doing the things. I still can't get back to where I was. But one thing that was certain was I was having issues sleeping.
Uh
I
huh.
have ADHD. I'm actually diagnosed. I was diagnosed at 10. But it was really hard for me to sleep because my mind would always be racing. So I started meditating as a way to actually reduce the level of thoughts, which actually worked. And I could just go to sleep just normal, just fine after that. But it took a long time. With that being said, it was just at a point where I realized that there was no other teaching from the Buddha. So I'm gonna have to find something in a deeper context. Well,
True.
like I was saying, when I was going to the webinar, at that point, I still don't really know what Hinduism is. I still don't really understand even maybe how it's much different than Buddhism, other than there's so many gods, right? It's a polytheistic religion. That's what I know, and I even think it is a religion. So Bala was a great way of making me understand a lot of the common terms like Shakti, like Shiva, like Moksha, like all these words. I start to become like more aware of and accustomed to that I didn't understand before. But one thing that Hinduism gave me that wasn't really in Buddhism was Hinduism has the culture. It has a culture, and it's still, I feel, just as alive as it was over 15,000 years ago. The only thing is that it just takes people really devoted to the path. Like if they're really devoted in getting within themselves, it's there. It's really that simple. But that's what it gave me. And so what really got me about Hinduism was it captivated me by the culture. It captivated me by understanding the deeper levels of what I even feel like Buddha was speaking about. But a lot of it was just what I've already been experiencing. When
Mm-hmm.
it talks about an Atma, I know what that is because I've experienced that. When it talks about Kundalini, I already experienced that. So I can always refer back to any experience spiritually that I've had by a Hindu word or a
Right.
Sanskrit word. And so that was what was more profound. That not only is there a sastra usually attached from something I've never read, but yet still have experienced. So now I find that there's also truth in it. So it was almost like you are authenticating each
Yes.
time. And so that was what did it for me. But honestly, it was listening to my guru. My guru was a huge contributing factor to why I got more immersed into Hinduism because just by his speaking and his level of knowledge and truth, that's what actually made me look at things and say, you know what? I can see it that way. And even things that were harder to perceive, I was able to kind of digest it and we internalize. And then usually it became an experience.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So, oh, God, on that. So, just for clarification, what aspect of Hinduism are you more into, or are you that you pursue an aspect?
I'm an Adi Shaivite. So in our tradition, so my guru, he says he's a Shaivite, but he's a practicing Shakta.
All right. So, for those who don't know what a Shavite is, could you break it down or explain for those who have never heard this terminology before?
Yeah. For me, Shaivism is a very ancient tradition that is focused on form and formlessness.
Right.
And if you guys really want to get deep into what Shaivism is at its essence, because Hinduism always focuses more on the essence, read the Upanishads, read the Sri Vijnanabhadava Tantra. You'll see this beautiful relationship.
Which I do have, and I have in possession.
Because you're Tantra child.
I
So
have actually, to not to say that I'm shooting my own horn, I actually have roughly 75% of all the different tantras from Shivit, Tantric, Shakta, and Vishnava.
oh man, I'm gonna have to look at your library, bro. Uh,
Well, go ahead, go ahead.
but so you have all these scriptures, but what you capture in its essence is there's always this reference to where you have these five senses, and then they are no more useful for you. You are going
Right,
to experience a place or a I should say a presence,
right,
a moving in an unmoving phase of your awareness where those senses will not be useful and you will not need them, and you need to understand what it will be like when they are no more useful. So
yes,
so that's what Shaivism is really about. Shaivism is understanding that this body will be reduced to ashes and that only Shiva exists. Only that which is not, which is beyond all five senses, which
right,
is the causeless auspiciousness, which is that is
okay,
the formlessness, the avyakta. That
yes.
is what only exists.
Beautiful, beautiful. So to even go a little more further, a little more deeper.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned Mahadeva, you mentioned Bholanath, Lord Shiva here, and he's known by so many. One of my best name for him is Bhutnath. What is a Bhut? What is a Bhut? A Bhut is a spirit, it's a ghost, it's an apparition, and once you mention Bhutnath, it takes you from that point. It takes you. You think of Kal Bhairava, you think of Vyabhadra, an aspect. So
Yeah.
you have those in particular name. So I want you to explain also
Okay.
who is the primal deity for Shivaism, because people know for an aspect. Let us put it in perspective too. For Vishnava, we know it is Lord Vishnu. An aspect. We worship the aspect of Lord Vishnu, and he's in form of Narasimha. He's a Matsya. He is actually Varaha, and even we know he comes as Krishna, right?
Yes.
So Vishnava worships is in that aspect. Even if you're a Hare Krishna, you're a Vishnu, which is sattvic of nature, very much sattvic. Even though we know Vedic days, it was a little different. Vedic days, back in the Vedic days, it was different. We saw through time that transition from what was done with Soma and Bali, it went more or less, it went sattvic of nature. Devi worship is all is sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic because of offering Karan, which is sanctified alcohol or Soma, and then we have the offering of Bali, which is the use of offering of an animal. I want you, so we know Devi is in consent. So Devi is Shakta, or the aspect of Devi. This is in the form of Maya, in the form of Kali Mata, um, in the form of the Das Mahavidas and so forth. Durga Mata, that is in Devi aspect. So a lot of people will not know that Shivaism is where Lord Shiva is worshipped. He is in you worship Lord Shiva in that aspect. Right now, I want from your perspective, from your explanation,
Yeah.
to enlighten the masses that how does that go over? Because for a lot of people, they're confused. Because when they think about Lord Shiva, they think about, because you mentioned ashes, they think about the ashes wearing individual who is in the cremation side, the Basma, the Vibhuti, who is in the cremation side, dancing with all these apparitions, these boots, Rakshasas and the Ganas and whatever and so on. And he has a lot of snakes around, he has a snake around his neck and all these different things. And, they think about that an aspect. So they think about the Rajasic and the Tamasic, but a lot of people do not know that Shivism also has sattvic nature. Where we get the Raja and Tamasic is those who are following the traditions of Kashmir Shivism.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
there are different aspects. There are different, like you say, different parts of India where Shivism will vary.
Yeah.
So I want you to explain to which one are you you have prescribed to, which one you are following in nature. So they'll understand. Oh, so there's this, there's that. So I want if you can enlighten us,
I'll
which
be
one you are following.
honest. That is a great question, and I'm glad you made those distinctions. Like it would only be you who would even try to approach a question like that
All
because
right.
it is very important. I think a lot of people just look at the Rajas Tamastic kind of sides of Hinduism,
Right.
but they don't look at Ishana.
Ah.
You see what I'm saying? They don't
Yes.
see Shiva as Isha. They see like him as Kalabhadava. And by the way, I prescribe more to Kashmiri Shaivism. If we're talking
Nice.
about just
We're gonna
Shaivism,
have we're gonna have conversations. We're gonna have conversations.
and it's because okay, for example, you're a Shakta, right?
Uh-huh.
Exactly. When people say feminine energy, and I don't really like this, but yeah, I have a point to it. When people say feminine energy, they almost assume that feminine just means you're nurturing and this and that, but they don't see Mother Nature is very nourishing, so
Right.
nourishing that it never asks for anything bad. It gives very selflessly, right?
Yes.
But at the same time, we've seen what a tsunami can do. We can see what a cyclone does. We've seen what volcanoes do.
Yes.
Mother Nature in itself, we call it the mother, but it is completely chaotic and destructive. There is sides of Makali that is very loving and compassionate and nurturing, but she'll also slay your head off as the
Yes.
Apsara.
No, you're
And
correct.
so,
You're beautiful. And to take a beautiful, if you have seen the Mahakali series on YouTube, where Pooja Singh does a beautiful job playing Parvati Mata. There it is. She's talking to Chandan Moon, who are the soldiers of Shum and Shum. All right, and this aspect is if we're going where scripture is concerned, we're going into the timeline where Naratram is coming into play, where that will come into play. So all these things are happening in aspect. And there it is, she's telling them, because they're saying that a woman is only there to serve her husband, her other half. And she states to them, yes, a woman is there to serve and assist her other half, but a woman is much more. And she puts it very straightforward. She says, if life is masculine, I can't say the other word, but unaliving is feminine. I can't use the D word because TikTok. So unaliving is feminine in aspect. And in one swoop of her blade, she said, let us change the paradigm. And in one swoop of her blade, she takes the head off of Chandan Moon. Right? And she shows you that. So for those who may not understand the feminine aspect of Hinduism, an aspect where the Devis are concerned, for me that particular series was awesome because it took it from a woman perspective. She being Parvati, dealing that she's the wife of Mahadev. She's the mother of Skand, which is Kartikeya, Murugan. She's the mother of Vinayak, will become Ganesh. And she's dealing to the point that she is Kali. She's having issues that she was Sati in her past life. How was this before? Right? She's dealing with that. She's dealing with the bigotry and the insults and all the things that women today still face with men who feel that they are dominant. She's dealing this with all the different raksasas who just want to come and plunder and take advantage and do as they please. So all these different things she is dealing with to help women to understand. Because Mahadev says, why do you seek your other half when you yourself can stand? She did not know that she had that divine power, that she could stand on her own, that she is a warrior. So there was so much she was dealing with. And anytime someone asks me to describe or give examples of how they look at Devi worship or the feminine energies, I always go back to that miniseries and tell them, look at that, and you will understand. Because Ma, when she walked upon the earth, if she was Parvati, if she was Gauri, if she was Kali, she had issues. We saw even when she was in Kali form, when she consumed the Rakta Beach, the fluids of Rakta Beach, right? We saw that it affected her. What happened? She did not know what was good and bad, and she destroyed everything in her path. What did Mahadev have to do? He had to go up on the ground to get her to be embarrassed, to let her feel that, wait, what did I mash? Something I'm stepping on, because I'm not feeling the ground anymore. I'm not feeling Bhumi Devi. I'm feeling something different. And when she looks down, she sees Mahadev, and she becomes flushed with embarrassment. And he had to do that to help her to regain her senses. So I tried to tell them, this is what, they are not all, yes, they're all prevailing, all powerful, but they themselves, just like us, had their struggles.
Yes. Yes, 100%.
Right.
And so that's beautiful. I really want to watch it. You said it's on YouTube?
It's on YouTube. You're gonna have one problem. The first 5 episodes has been removed, so you have like 36 to 95. But
Dang.
it's awesome. No, but still, it has.
You can watch the show, but you can only watch it halfway through. You can't.
No, but that's it. But it has subtitles for those who do not understand Hindi. It has that. And has it. But there's so much, because we get to see the wife of Kartikeya. We get to see how Shashti Devi comes into play, which is the stepdaughter of Indradev, for those who don't know that. We see how Siddhi and Riddhi comes in aspect to Vinayak. So there's so much to unravel on themselves. So there's a lot. There is a lot.
Oh, Bhagwan, he's in the comments. He's like, why did I feel like that too.
No, I told them, I said, this episode is going to be different because you're getting 2 Hindus to sit down alive. It's going to be different. It's going to be a whole different ballgame.
Absolutely.
So, not moving from where I came back. So, Mahadev in being aspect of he is the primal deity for Shivaism, right? You said that you do prescribe to the Kashmir Shivaism, which for me is very, very profound. Avabinda Gupta is one of the greatest authors I have come across with some of his books. He has given life to so much where Kashmir Shivaism is. Most of his books I have. The only one I do not have is the one about the Shava Sadhana. But I have other authors on that particular sadhana, but I wanted to get his one in particular.
Yes.
Because his one, he goes in more in depth. So,
beautiful.
Taking from that aspect, could you break down for us what is the difference between Kashmir Shivaism to what is more, to what might be other aspect? What is more or less, because Kashmir will go into Bali. We'll eventually go into Bali to some aspect, and Tantric. It will enter the aspect of Tantric worship and Balian aspect. So, and then you have the other. So if you could give us distinctions, what you will find in the Sattvic aspect compared to what you will find in the Kashmir aspect.
Okay, so like if you go to the temple, you'll find that there's a lot of people. They just come in, and depending on the temple, they'll sit in silence. It'll just be very like peaceful. Like everybody will eat food afterward, and I love that. I actually do love that. But there's an aspect of me that feels this isn't Hinduism as I know it, as I feel it, like as a Shaivite. This is like I feel like I'm sharing community with people, but I don't feel I don't feel like this is like the ritual. Like, where's the homa? Like, where's people doing the yoga? Where's the who's doing the puja, and
Right.
and who's offering? Like, who's doing the like? I see the fire walking. Like, where's that? Now I could probably live without the animal sacrificing. I don't I don't practice that,
No, no,
but
that's understandable.
yeah,
A lot of people, that is a whole different topic by itself. But continue.
100%. And I think that as a culture and as a tradition, it's okay to change things. It is okay to say, you know what, that's what they did, but we don't have to continue it. And sometimes experience something very with much awareness and
Right.
know if it's for you or for not, if it was useful or
Yes.
whatnot.
Very much
But
true.
but Shaivism in its essence, I feel is very much tantric. It's very much of that nature, and that's what attracted me because people talk about spirituality almost as if it's supposed to be love and light, but it can't. There is an occult side to things. There is I don't want to use the word light and dark, but there is two sides, two shades of the moon. There's the reflective light, and then there's the
Right.
shadow. So we have to acknowledge that these both exist, and
Right.
you have to understand both because
Yes.
sometimes I've seen people it be used against them, and um, and it's a very complicated spot. So you always want to be aware of the other aspect of life, but
You
I would
have
say
to.
yes, you have to. Yeah, go
Right.
ahead.
What people need to understand in spirituality, and I'm going broad based, I'm not just going to go Hinduism, I'm going to go in every aspect of faith, be it Abrahamic, Islamic, you're in Hinduism, if you're going to a Shakti or Shivit, even if you are of Orisha, Santerian aspect, everything has different aspects.
Yes.
Right? You have different aspects. Like in Hinduism, the deities have different. Ma, in the form of Kali, has two aspects. She has her sattvic gun aspect. She's very calm, sweet, loving, caring. But when she's ready, there's that rajasic, tamasic aspect of her, where she's unhinged in aspect. Where 1 minute she's Mahakali, and then 1 minute she is Smashankali. What's the difference? Mahakali has her right foot on Mahadev's chest, and he's on her right hand side. Smashankali is more or less south. She's on where she has her left foot on his chest. So they're different based on her energies. There she will switch back based on how you more or less worship or how you invoke an aspect via mantras or whatever. And this is something also that I always repeat on my lives. Be very careful of the mantras that you recite and how you recite them. Because you might hear a mantra, oh, this song's nice, this song's beautiful, and it rolls off your tongue very easily. Beautiful. But understand the meaning of the mantra. Because what you may think you're calling a puppy when you're calling a a full grown wolf or a pit bull.
Ganapati, you know?
Yeah. So you got to be very careful. So this is what a lot of people, again, because of the stigma that even Ma gets, and because growing up, even in cartoons and movies. Just the other day, I was watching over League of Extraordinary Men with Sean Connery. I with Nemo. Nemo was in the movie. Nemo is a devotee of Ma, and he's there. He has his big 8 feet murti. And what do they call her? Kali, the goddess of what? Right? There's
Yes.
one name, one thing. That is all most people know her by. While for me, it's like, no, she's not that. She's loving, she's caring. She's everything like a mother. Very caring and loving, kind. Yeah, if I screw up, yeah, she's going to straighten me. She's not going to spare the rod.
Yeah.
So this is what a lot of people do get an aspect. And Mahadev gets the same thing. He gets the same kind of, that stigma and aspect. Because Mahadev is he's that particular father that he's not easily moved. We know by his sadhanas, many different doctrines in the tantric aspect of like one of my best tantras is the Mahanirvana. Tantra. Very beautiful where he, and we know for a fact, there it is, we did. He is not easily moved. You have to push the envelope where he is. Consider that you're doing sadhanas and he's in meditative sleep, he's in samadhi, he's sleep, he's meditating. To get him to open his eyes, you have to push the envelope. Look what many great individuals, Ravan, look what Ravan had to go through. When he placed Kailash on his hand, look at what came out around that. We got the Shiva Stotram, we got the Tandav Stotram. That was the most beautiful poem that we know.
Yes.
So sometimes you have to apply pressure, and he's like that. It's like applying pressure to coal. What happens when you apply pressure to coal? It becomes a diamond.
Yeah.
So this is what they get, a bad rep and a bad stigma because of what is projected to them and people don't understand.
Absolutely. And you made so many great points that I can refer to. Well, one being that Shiva is very unmoved. He's very unaffected. And that is what we should aspire to be like within ourselves, and that's a reminder. So people have to keep in mind that these aren't like, I think I've heard people be like, they don't save anybody. They're not there to save people. They're there as other aspects of us. When we talk about Shrishti, Sthiti, Samhara, Thorbaba, and Nigraha, when we talk about the 5 aspects of Sada Shiva, those are things happening within us and outside of us in the universe and just existence. So all these things are happening simultaneously and spontaneously, all at the same movement. So it's not about praying to something and being like, okay, please help me. I done really fucked up this time. No, I need to have the deeper meaning and experience of life, and that is to be like that. So when we say Shiva Tattva, like to be like Shiva, I am that. It's to understand that Shiva may be a being or an essence or quality, but he's also a state. So we can all reach that. But you said something very beautiful about Ma Kali, and you know what it reminded me of?
What?
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I loved that show growing up as a kid, right?
Oh, yeah, we all did. I think we all liked Buffy growing up. Every guy, I don't think there's a guy who didn't like Buffy.
Yeah, for real. It was such a great show. But what I think I liked about it so much was, I think that was the first time growing up I really saw a girl like fighting in a show, and she's like the main character, and like she's playing with her life right now, like she fighting vampires and stuff like that. She's the chosen one, but it's like this. It's a very intense show because she's a teenager. There's a lot put on her, and I think deep down we all want to be something great. We all want to be a hero in our story. I think we all want that in some level. Especially growing up as a boy, you want that heroism, that perspective. But what's beautiful? We never get to hear about women fighting in history. It's almost non-existent. It'll be every once in a while you hear these stories, but when you look at Hinduism, it highly reflects and acknowledges women's power and their ability to fight and their ability to be powerful.
Yeah. Sadly enough, in some faiths, not all, women and their roles are silent for some stupid reason or the other. Disappointing. In Hinduism, it's not that different still. There are certain aspects where women are silenced, where people will ask, say that women cannot read the Vedas, they cannot read the Tantras, this, that, and all these different things. But yet we see feminine energy comes into play. We heard about the story of Draupadi, who was the wife of the Pandavas. We hear what she had to go through, what she had to endure. Right? This is done in the Mahabharata. We hear what takes place with Sita Mata in aspect in the Ramayana. Yeah. We see how much she has to endure through. One beautiful name that we always hear about when we talk about Dwapa, we talk about Krishna, we always talk about Rukmini, we hear about Radha. But how much people know about Mihrabai, who was one of the most profound and very dedicated bhakta and devotee to Lord Krishna. We do not hear much about Mirabai,
No.
and she is very profound. So you have that aspect. When it comes to Parvati, there's so much different form. Yes, we hear about Kali Mata, we hear about Mariamma, but they're like, okay, let's go South India far, because those South India, you do not hear about names, Gram Devtas or Kulab Devams like Kitiriyamma, Angala Parameshri. These are the particulars which are folklore in aspect, but they are aspects of the divine also. We don't hear about their glorifications and whatever. There are doctrines that states in like the the Manusrimati. Manusrimati gives doctrines if a woman and her husband is unalived, that that by law in that aspect at that time can remarried into the family itself, back into the family, meaning the deceased youngest brother could marry his widowed sister-in-law just to maintain the sanctity of the family and everything.
Right.
So you have these things where women are put under scrutiny. Because let me ask you a stupid question, and this might be profound for a lot of people. When exactly in Hinduism, when exactly is a woman free from any aspect of tyranny or karma in her life? When she is born as a girl, she's under her father's roof, and she has to abide by that. When she goes to her husband, what happens in the aspect of the Viva Sanskar? There's something called Kanya Dan. It is more or less gift giving. That is, her father gives her as a gift onto her in-laws. So now she becomes like property. Her in-laws becomes her parents now, and she's under her husband roof. When the husband is no longer there, she has her family now. She has sons. She feeling sick. Son, I want to go by the doctor. The son is busy. He has a TikTok live. He has a meeting, something, whatever. He don't have time. So she's always under someone's rulership.
Yes.
When exactly is she that? And women, even till today, back and then, till now, gets a bad rep. They get bad recognition. They do not get that support nor that love that they deserve.
I agree 100%. So when is a Hindu woman free, or a woman in general?
For me, well, I would go in general. I wouldn't keep it just for Hindu, because if I just do that, that's just Hinduism. But we see it everywhere.
Yeah.
Not just in Hinduism, we see it every single where. In the Abrahamic religion, it is stated in the Bible that women are supposed to be silent. They're not supposed to be preachers.
Yes, it does say that.
In our aspect of faith, Hinduism, we see that there are many great devis, great female gurus and gurumas that are there doing the work. Many great, right? Outside of Hinduism, one great name, Mother Teresa.
Yes.
That is a very profound one. She did a lot of good stuff while she was alive. So there's so much things that needs to be fixed. And yes, though I'm an advocate for doctrines and the Vedas and the Puranas, whatever, but there are sometimes people take things too far.
Yes, I seen that.
They take it too far.
With the whole Manusmriti, women can't go to the temple on their menstrual cycle.
Right.
And I didn't agree with that. There's no reference for that.
That's a whole, okay. So that story you'll get that story within the Srimad Devi Bhagavatam. But a lot of people don't know how that happens also. And do forgive me, we're actually going off script, because this was to be about you and we're talking about Hinduism, but again, it's organic and the people are loving it. So what a backstory to that is that Indradev had killed the guru of the Rakshasas. And because of that, he got trapped. Which was a curse, to have ailments. Brahmdev and the other devas devised a plan. He would do tapasya, he would do penance, and his shrap would be split. There it is. Women took it. Trees took it. The sea took it, and something else. I think the earth took it. 4. So the earth would have been with earthquakes. That is one aspect of the life, one aspect of the shrap. Trees that has milky sap when you cut the tree and it has milky sap, those trees were not supposed to be used in any aspect of sadhana. So you cannot use it for any ritual, any puja whatsoever. So for hawans or any the leaves and whatever cannot be used for anything in aspect for pujan, right? The ocean, when the ocean is milky, when you go and you see that white foamy froth like soap, that is when the sea is unclean. You cannot take water to bathe or do any rituals or bathe in aspect.
Okay.
The fourth now with women, the fourth shrub aspect where women take it was their cycle. They got a cycle.
Ah.
Now,
okay, I see.
Right. So in the aspect of Vaishnava worship, it is very sattvic of nature. Yes, it is not recommended that women should do any type of pujan in that aspect because they are considered unclean. Shivat, Shakta in aspect, because your aspect of tantric worship will be Agori. It will be the aspect of the Agoris. Right? And one of my mentors and one of my greatest idols is Manik Chan.
Yeah.
This man could do Hawan whole day and I will sit down and watch him right through. Right? He is one of the greatest. That aspect, and in tantric worship, it had different levels or different intervals. If a woman is having a cycle, she can perform because she is a sadhak, she is a disciple. She can perform. If she's at beginner level, she can't. So in your aspect of Kashmir, there are certain levels where she's in, she will be able to perform sadhana like normal, even though it's that time, because it is recommended, because they are, and I'm going to put it out there, forgive me, they are sadhanas, and you will know what I'm talking about. There are sadhanas that involve it.
Yes.
But we will not go further on that. But this is what, once you're prescribed to sattvic aspects, so sattvic Shivaism, sattvic Devi worship, sattvic Vaishnava worship, you are not allowed.
Yes.
In the Caribbean, in the Kali temples and the Mariamman temples that we have, I think America has some of the kovils, some of the ashrams across there too, that are Mariamma and Kali. If you're giving a sadhana, meaning a 9 weeks, 10 weeks, 15 weeks, you are giving that to not break the stride of your sadhana. They will tell the individual, the female, to come to the temple. And there it is, the Purohit or the Pujari or so forth will take lime and neons, what they call in local term lime out. So they will jarry them and also using the items of neem and lime, which is used for cutting and healing, to cleanse them spiritually. So they are allowed a window to come in, meaning that window is a time frame to come in, do your sadhana, do your offerings, and you go. You do not do anything else, because there are other people doing sattvic offerings. So they will come at a particular time, allowed to come in, do your offerings, and then you go where you have to go. So that is allowed. But most traditions will not allow it because it is not recommended. We see these mimes, and you will see it for when I think Naratam starts Tuesday coming? Tuesday or Wednesday? I think it's the first or the second. Naratam starts next week.
I think it's Tuesday.
All right. And we will see the video, we'll see the little clip or the little picture where Mark coming down the stairs and the Purohit is like, Davy, where are you going? Oh, I found out that women on the menstrual are not allowed here. That for me is rage baiting, because why? You have to understand what it pertains to. Because if I'm a Vaishnava or a Hare Krishna, I could put that up and I have rights because I prescribe to sattvic worship.
Yes.
If I'm a Shakta and my aspect of worship is Bali, and that I could put that up because I am okay. Yes, they could come once it's within a particular the environment is conducive. But if you're a sattvic Shakta, only doing sweets and fruits and whatever, that is not necessary. That may not be allowed. So you have to understand where the person is coming from, because a lot of people get vexed and this and that. You see the picture where you see the goat, you see Ma Kali hand, and you see the blade, and you see the animal crying. This is like, really seriously. But again, when people do not know their scripture to understand, to know what governs me to governs you. And this is why I want to come to.
Yes.
Could you tell us what are the scripture that will govern your aspect of worship? Because everybody think, well, Mahadev is Mahadev. But yes, so meaning that they're thinking about the Mahashri Puran, which everybody has. But what
Oh,
other doctrines
yeah.
that will more or less be more direct in aspect to where Kashmir Shivism is concerned?
That is a beautiful question. But can I answer the last one where you were like, what like when basically can a woman be free?
Go
Because
ahead. Go
it
ahead. Go
made me
ahead.
think of something. Like I grew up with three older sisters. I've always loved women my whole life because I think it was the loss of not having them. And one thing that is certain, like now I can see how suppressed, like as a kid, you don't see it as much, but
Right. Yeah.
as an adult, I can see how much suppression is on, women in general. And I think it's kind of like the story of when Shiva had the 112, uh,
I know where you're going.
meditations.
Go ahead.
The
Go ahead.
112 meditations. And she's like, why just 112? Right? And he doesn't argue with her. He just lets her believe that there's more and that maybe there's a possibility.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where we've gone wrong, is trying to exude dominance, exude force, just to prove a point, just to be right because of ego. And I feel the day that humanity wakes up
Right.
and starts moving towards conscious growth and trying to repair from unhealed traumas, unhealed past. All these things that we learn in Hinduism is to help us move forward and
Yeah.
and shed layers of those things. So
Yes.
I believe that's when women can be free to be themselves. It's when we can accept what we are, and what we are is supposed to be just like Shiva, just like that story, just letting things just be as it
Yes.
is.
Yes.
Onto it.
Beautiful that you said that. And to emphasize more where women is concerned, in the Mahakali series, Mahadev says in that episode, because this is where I'm taking this from the person where um, Brahaspati comes. We all know Brahaspati is a great bhakta of Mahadev, but he acknowledged Mahadev as Lord. He acknowledged Parvati as the wife, as the consort, not as Devi. So we see where he comes and he does everything to acknowledge Mahadev, but he doesn't give respect to Parvati. And Mahadev knows this. Parvati wants to leave and go, but he doesn't allow her because he knows that there have to be a conflict where Brahaspati has to learn a lesson. To reach the point that he does insult her, that he says that you are just a consort. And she says, if that is what, I'm just the consort and nothing more, then let me remove all the aspect of femininity within you. What does that involve? The marrow in his bones. When she does that, he falls like a jellyfish.
Yeah.
After he realizes the mistake he makes, he begs for mercy, whatever. They more or less restore him to herself, but he is more or less given a third leg, an aspect, to always meant to remind him of what the mistake he made, whatever. And that we see that beautiful form of Mahadev, and he's stating that they're inseparate. That Mahadev and Parvati and Gauri, Shiva and Shakti are always together. Right? We see that before. And he explains to everyone who is there that he states that without Shakti, I am a dead corpse. If I am the body, she is my blood, she is my soul. In
Yes.
today's world, there is no man upon this earth that is an island. Because
Yeah.
like it or not, you came from a woman. You were born, right? You came from a woman, right? You were born from a woman. Your mother carried you for 9 months, fed you with her blood, sustained you with her body to bring you forth. Your mother is one of your first gurus who teaches you to stand up, to eat, to speak, and all that, to show you that much of love.
Yeah,
She's the first
she
one
ain't
that,
come from no rib.
right? She's the one that cut your ass when you step out of line, right? And there's
Yes.
so much that, as again, scriptures tell us the things, the glories of Devi.
Yes.
But not just Kali Mata. There's so much that we do not hear about Lakshmi Mata. We do
Kumari.
not hear about Saraswati. All right? We do not know the different aspects of when Lakshmi is in her Radhasic form, when Lakshmi is in her Tamasic form. Who is Saraswati when she's in a Radhasic or Tamasic form? These are the things we don't learn, we don't
Don't learn.
read. A lot of people say that I don't have to read a book. I'm okay with that.
That's
There are
fine.
some people, that's fine. But if you don't have to read a book, fine. Then your spirituality is supposed to be at that level that when you open your mouth, you should be able to recite scriptures without knowing it. And I should be calling, but Bhai, do you know you just quoted the Sri Puran? You just quoted the Upanishads. That is that. Because when you see people, I didn't have to do this, I didn't have to do that, and I'm working with the forces, and you see what they do, and it's like, really? Seriously?
Where'd you get that from?
Yeah, where got that from? Where did you get that from? Oh, it was given to me. Yes, I do understand, based on your teachers, based on every different person who was a disciple to our guru. The sadhanas, the rituals, the right will be more or less changed, amended according to that school of thought. But the basic of it and the general foundation is the exact same.
Yeah.
It doesn't change.
Yeah.
So we have that an aspect.
I
So,
never liked that.
no.
I never liked that because it's like for example, with my guru.
Hold. Good morning. What's that? It's okay. So you're coming up to Second Avenue on if you're in Pumba. It's the corner house, right on the corner with an unpainted wall, and inside the yard is a yellow house. Next door to me, it's a mini mart. No, you're not going straight. I'm right on the boulevard itself. Right on the boulevard. All right. So the rain falling. Yeah, I kind of reddish. Well, it's not really a lot of red, but it's halfly red. Yeah, I cook. So once the rain is up, I come out, I so they notify I'm paying with links, right? All right, I come in now.
Bhagwan, so he's not gonna come. Kalki has a feminine aspect, but
Well, the next
he
avatar
is a
version.
male.
Hold up. Well, the next, wait, don't answer that yet. Well, let me come back to that because I want to get into that too.
Okay.
So, everyone, allow me 5 minutes. My brand new chair is here, so it's outside. I need to go. So give me about 5 minutes. Just go and organize
No,
that.
you're okay.
But I want us this tea. This is what when I come back, me and Josh will get into this, and later tonight, tea. I'm going to talk about Lord Vishnu on my live tonight when I go live at 7. So you're going to be there for that. So give me about 5 minutes. I'm coming back.
I'm so glad you guys could be here. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Bhagwan, you always come with good questions. I hope you guys are enjoying it so far. Try to keep it a little entertaining. Let's see. This is amazing. I'm glad you guys are. Yeah. Maybe we don't like this one. Hey, Chris, have you family truth lately? No, not at all. No. But definitely have felt more of the Tamastic energies lately. I think it's because of everything happening with the moon. Because you guys know I'm a Pisces, and I also have a moon in Scorpio. So, like this last moon, I think it was a super moon, and then it was a partial eclipse. Like it was intense for me. The whole week was intense. So, yeah, it's a big job. It's a big job to deal with all that. It's a big job. But then there's other things too, like we're affected by everything that's happening in the world in some way, shape, or form. Like the elections are coming up, and you already know what kind of bad energy emanates from that. Namaskar. So yeah, it's many things. Dr. Charles gonna love that chair. I'm telling you. Hi, Mahadev. Yeah, this is new. I haven't been live in a long time. I think I confused some people. They probably thought I was having on my own live, but I was trying to get it joined in with Contra Child. But apparently I needed 10 people, so I guess if I would have had 10 people, it would have been just fine. But nevertheless, we made it work. I didn't want to catfish people like that, though. So. But how's everybody been so far today? And what y'all's plans for this weekend? Oh, thank you. I didn't even notice some people were gifting me. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. You do lives a lot? I did. I used to do a lot of meditation lives where I would host and I like do guided meditations with people. But yeah, if people have questions, I have an ebook. You can just like message me. I'll just send you the copy for free, and you guys can just go from there. It has everything that I've ever done as far as the meditation process, so you can just kind of have like that step by step. Miss some things. Thanks, Cookie. Peter, I just don't do lives anymore. I'm just going on my own path of detachment. We'll probably get to that now with Tantra Child. We'll see. But no, I'm on my path. So that would require me to not teach anything. Let's see. Like I'll come to other people's lives and I'll do like stuff like this, but I'm not going to. I'm not gonna make like an effort to like host a live and do what I've done in the past. Like I've had so many videos and I have ebooks. Like people can always refer back to those. If I feel inspired to write another ebook or I feel inspired to do anything else, I'll do it. But don't expect me to be going live and teaching anything. The path of detachment is very intense. Okay, Ma'amu, it's good to see you back. Well, thank you, Mom. TikTok is becoming toxic. It's always been toxic, to be honest. It depends on what community or what topics you like to listen to, but it's always been like that. It's a place of a lot of attention seeking. A lot of people like the attention that they get. So, kind of like a drug for them. So, it just kind of depends where you're at. Some people actually have loneliness, and that's okay too. Or they're coping with them. You didn't miss that.
I'm back. So I'm back.
Sweet, man.
I'm going to enjoy myself after this live.
You're going to turn that massage one.
Yep. So yeah, there was a question that Alien T had asked.
Yes, about coffee.
Trying to get down to it. I never received delivery during my lives. Well, okay, sorry about that, right? I'm not seeing one of someone's comments.
You got to leave a 15% tip.
Alright, so where is this question? I'm trying to find this question. Ah, here it is. Will the next avatar will appear in the feminine form? Interesting, interesting. So, via scripture, Kalki will come in male form because he's an avatar of, he is an avatar of Lord Vishnu. That doesn't mean that Lord Vishnu did not take the form of anything feminine. That's because if we look, there is a form called Mohini. He took that form. He took that form to more or less persuade the Asuras in aspect to get them to give up things that they had, possession that they had. So he has come in a feminine form, which again does not get much spoken about. They speak about Krishna, Varaha, Matsya, and so forth, the dwarf and whoever, and Krishna. But you don't really hear much about Mohini. There's so much that when we go through scriptures, we hear about, we read it, and it's like, why is we're not getting this information? How is this not being put out there in the public domain?
Yeah.
It's not to say that it's something embarrassing. Yes, Mohini didn't do a lot of stuff like what Sri Ram did or what Krishna did, right? But still, she played a pivotal part. She played a very pivotal part where that struggle or fight between the Asuras and the Devas, she played a pivotal part to help them to change the paradigm, to more or less give the Devas the advantage. So we see that in particular in nature. But again, we don't hear about it. So tonight is when I'm going to go, when I do live, I want to touch about that because most of the time when I do my lives, a lot of people do ask a lot. ANT asks, Samurai Moling, he asks about Lord Vishnu and the avatars of Lord Vishnu. So I want to touch on that. I do apologize that your life is being taken up with everything else.
No. I like the flow. I like the flow of it. It's organic, like you said.
Yes.
There's so many great points here. But you know, even when it comes to the David, right? Like, I love this. I love Shaktism, by the way. I love Shaktism because, just like you were saying earlier, Kashmiri Shaivism has a lot of similarities to Shaktism, and you really can't separate them. Although we separate them in a way of saying, "Hey, this is what I do, and I do it this way," and I just so happen to give it a name. But ultimately, I think that we all understand as Hindus that the divine aspect is, feminine aspect is very, very important, and it's primordial, and it is all that exists, and it is the manifest of all that is in reality. Like you were saying, the physical structure can be there, but the power, the actual fluidity of it is Ma, right? And I only want to say that if you look at the Trimurti, right? Right. You look at that, I actually look at it at a different angle than I did like years ago. True. And the angle is that if you look at, for example, Brahma and Saraswati. Brahma is what we can perceive as the material world, the material matter, right? Right. He is the physical manifestation of what we see in front of us. Right. But the intelligence that drives that, where if I have iron, and from a chemical basis, this compound makes this set of molecules, right? That's Brahma. But Saraswati is the intelligence behind that to distinguish this iron from this potassium.
No, you're correct. And again, going back to scripture, and I hear that I'm actually quoting so much. But in the Srimad Devi Bhagavatam, when we see the alignment or the bringing together of Vishnu and Lakshmi, you look at them, as you said, yes, Brahmdev is the physical embodiment of creation. He's creator. But he needs intelligence to help him to create all the things, every star, every fish, every molecule, every fungus, whatever he has to bring around. He needs that intelligence. She comes in. She is his Shakti. Right?
Yes.
When Ma, in the form of Bhunaveshwari Mata, in the Srimati Vivahatam, joins them or tell them that you're going to be joined. Because we know that in other stuff, we know later down, we see how they are joined.
Yes.
She is, more she tell him, you're going to have Saraswati, but he doesn't get her then. We see lower down when she's created out of the corner lips of Radha, and she goes to Vaikunt, where she moves from there and she goes to where Vishnu Lok is, and we see that Mera of a fight between Lakshmi, Tulsi, and Ganga. And what happens after that? When Tulsi will come as Tulsi Mata as the tree, Saraswati comes as a river, which because of her, how she was, the river is no longer on the face of the earth, it's beneath. We see that Lakshmi also comes as a river, but she goes back. But Lakshmi Mata plays a double role because she even comes back at the essence of as Tulsi. We see that.
Right.
So there it is. When Vishnu is being known that he's going to have Kamala Devi, which is Lakshmi, he needs, because he's the preserver, he needs that energy, that enlightenment. He needs that energy of positivity to be able to conquer, to be able to achieve his goal and what he's led to do. Mahadev, being the way he is, he's all three gunas, Radha, Tama, and Sattvic. He needs that energy. He needs that energy now to be able to also destroy, to create and preserve in his own aspect. So there it is. Ma comes in the form of Kali Mata. She is Parvati, but she will go into Kali Mata to assist him. So there it is. Every Deva, the Trimurtis, their energies, their feminine energy comes in the form of their consorts.
Yes.
That gives life to what they give life to their functions that they perform. So they're more they're hand in hand in nature.
I love that. I love that. And as I too, I look more to the South Indian devatas because there's more context there, and it seems that they're more aligned with the actual like ancient Hinduism that we know that we practice. So I follow more with that.
Yeah. So as a great person would say, and he's actually in the live, and by his statement you will know. Equal in nature, different in degree.
And
he's here.
And I know universal theory, and I actually love that he said that because that sets a tone for most things in Hinduism that you will not find in Abrahamic religions because there is no set in degrees. It's like more of a blanket statement. Like for example, absolute. Objective morality,
right?
You know, where there's this it's very cutthroat where it's just this is what it is. But like you said, in existence, there's aspects of things.
Yeah.
You know, like the banyan tree. It's one of the I believe it's the only tree that really can actually intake oxygen at night. But that's not typically what trees do. And so when we point a finger, and this is why I love Hinduism so much, it never point the finger and said, this is what this is. It allows you to contemplate, internalize, and experience. So if I just tell you the answer, you'll never have inquiry.
True.
Unless there's something in you that has to go beyond what you already perceive it to be. And so,
very much true.
So when it doesn't point the finger, you really get to capture the essence and really wonder, okay, what's more to this than what I see? So the banyan tree is a great spiritual representation of that.
What Hinduism does, and my perspective, is that they don't necessarily point the finger. Well, they don't point the finger, as you said, and you're correct. Unlike other faiths, what tells you the destination. That's it, full stop. You had a starting point, you had a destination, full stop. There's nothing of the journey. While Hinduism, they do tell you about the destination, But they give you all that you need to equip yourself for the journey, because within the journey, there's reasoning, there's conflict, there's confusion, there's finding, there's so much that is going to happen there. There's going to be breaking and molding of not you physically and spiritually and all these different things. So much is going to happen. And we have heard people see this in so many different ways in their journey to enlightenment or spirituality. There's
Yes.
so much within the journey. The destination is there, where you got to reach, but the journey is where everything takes place.
Absolutely. The journey, and I had to learn that. I was never happy with the journey. I always wanted the destination.
Yeah.
But what I realized was is that, and I think about it more and more as days go on,
Hmm.
'cause you just think differently, um, whatever step in life you're at. But I learned how to enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, fall in love with
Right.
the process, and it's really hard, a hard thing to do, at least for me.
Hmm.
But now it's more like I can't wait to see what happens. Okay, all right, I'm gonna go off tangent because I already told you guys I got ADHD. So, y'all remember All Dogs That Goes to Heaven? Do y'all remember that
Right.
movie?
All right. Uh huh.
Now, I know that there's some kids shows, man, but they really do hit you when you're an adult. And I remember that one scene where Charlie is in heaven,
Right.
and she said, "This is your watch," and it stopped. And he's like, "So that's it?" And she's like, "Yep, that's it." And he's like, she's like, "Heaven has everything." And he's like, "So you're saying there's no surprises or anything?" And then it goes into the song.
Mm.
And I think the most beautiful part of that song was is that like there's a beauty in not knowing things.
Yes.
You
Very much
just
true.
go along with the ride and you just go with
Yeah.
the flow and don't care
No,
what happens.
for me, and you're true. There's a beauty and there is a subtlety and a peace in not knowing. For some people, they want to know exactly what's going to happen the next minute, the next second, the next day. But if you know that you are going to hit, you're going to stumble, right, and you're going to stumble and knock your foot on a stone or hit a tree or something. You're going to contemplate on what is going to happen at that point. You're going to contemplate at 2 p.m. I'm going to stumble and fall, and everything between now and 2 p.m. is going to be non-existent. So the experiences that you would have and the things that you would learn would not be there, will not be there. And the things that you need to understand and take in will not have value in any way, because you would have given value and importance to just one minute stuff and more or less shut everything else out. And that, for me personally, I don't necessarily. I mean, don't get me wrong. This might sound bad to a lot of people. You will not necessarily find me going physically to someone that can read your palm or these kind of things.
Okay.
And to all my friends who are into tarot and could do these things, I'm not taking a jab at you guys. It's
Absolutely.
just me.
Yeah.
I prefer to live in the unknown. Let
Yes.
me experience the now. And when I reach that point that I stumble and I bounce my toe, let me feel the pain.
You don't
Let
want to
me
be
feel the
given the
pain.
you don't
Yeah,
want to
let
be
me
given the
feel.
red pill.
Yeah, let me feel the pain. Let me cuss. Let me say, "Oh, shame's in that, whatever," and then simmer back down. That is what I want. I want to get into that point. But if I
Yeah.
do that, it's like, no, I'm gonna miss out so much, and I don't want to miss out.
I'll be honest with you. I
Uh,
had an experience where in the beginning of the year I had an astrology reading.
right.
And the guy who did my reading is phenomenal. And if
Mhm.
you really are the opposite of me and Tantra Child, you go to him and he'll give you a very great reading. And most I'll say most because some things just don't manifest yet. It takes time for it to manifest. But everything that did is everything he said. And with that being said, if you really want to know and have certainty, then he's a good person to go
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
But I preface this because I experienced that, and I realized that okay, I know what's going to happen, but yet sometimes it's still not really what you want, and you think
True.
that because I'm going through this reading, okay, I find myself that okay, I see what he was saying, it's happening,
Mm-hmm.
but it might not always be a good thing. It might not be
True.
fulfilling. In fact, it might have been better if you really didn't know, because sometimes we get in our way. We get in our way.
Very much true.
We almost
Very much
feel,
true. Yes, you are so correct.
yeah,
Many
we
a
almost
times we
feel like that.
do get in our way. We do get in our way. We sometimes are the ones that are stopping ourselves.
Yeah.
The one or two readings that I have had via TikTok, which would have been with Pixie and with Astro, where they actually revealed to the aspect of who I was to where I am and where I'm projected. Yeah, they were on point.
Yeah.
Everything. They were on point. Whatever. All right. By the way, before we continue, everyone that is in the live right now, this goes from Jordan to Sarah to Alien to you. All of you guys who are there, Kalki, do not be going. There's a part in the live coming up that I will need all of your assistance. Because there's a part I'm going to put Blissful Awakening on the hotspot, right? Where I ask him to reveal honest truth by when I say certain people's name, what comes to mind. And then later on, in that same aspect, I'm going to bring you guys up so you guys can state the same thing, what you guys feel when you think about him.
Oh, that's
All right?
sweet.
All right, So now we have that part. We know where you are in spirituality and so forth. All right? Here, roast your co-host. Agency. Right? So this is what. Now I want to step into, and I know that as much I try to go script, it's not going to go, but we will try
Okay.
still.
It's okay.
Let's talk about Blissful Awakening. How that came up, how that concept came about of becoming Blissful Awakening, and what is actually, who is Blissful Awakening, and what is his purpose? What is his duty? What is he is supposed to be doing?
So, if you guys know my guru, his name's Nityananda, and Nityananda means eternal bliss. So, most people in our community, in the organization, has Ananda at the end of their name. Most people.
Right.
And so that bliss factor was always a thing. And I remember there was other Sanskrit terms like Satchitananda, like
Right. Uh-huh.
all these other words that kind of relate to the same thing, where there's like this bliss, and it also kind of was related to my Kundalini experience. So there was all these words, and I remember at the time it was like late 2017. I started teaching people, like, and just kind of like spreading the word. It was mainly things I experienced from my guru at that time. It was kind of like a very short kind of vlog, and I was kind of like going through different realizations, different things that clicked with me, and there was like a lot of cognitive shifts at that time, and so
Right.
I needed a name that was almost like a spiritual path for me, because I didn't have a spiritual name. So
Right.
Blissful Awakening was my becoming as a as someone who wanted to make people experience what I experienced. And people who have listened to me or done my meditation session knows the main three things I look for to, I guess I would say, like, authenticate an experience or a sastra is only three things, which is, sastra pramana. Can I go back to the scripture and say, okay, this is where I got it from?
Right.
Atma pramana, which is my own personal experience, and then sakshi pramana, being able to give it to somebody else. That last part is really what I focused heavily on. So when I
More or
was
less.
yes, absolutely.
No,
And when I
no.
was
So what you're giving, it's almost similar to what is given as the description of Vedanta. You have what is taught, what is learned, and then the enlightenment.
yes,
Right?
yes, 100%. And so when I was doing the meditation processes before, because I was doing it back in like 2017, 2018.
Right.
And when people started having all these experiences and stuff like that, that's what made it more impactful. It made the journey even sweeter because it was like, for the first time, I feel like these people would never had meditated otherwise, but there was just something there, and look how life changing it was for some people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe they never heard of meditation. Maybe they
Right.
thought they couldn't meditate. I hear that more often than anything else. Oh, I just can't meditate. Have you tried? Yeah, I've tried. I can't shut my brain off. Okay, well, have you done pranayama?
Which
Have you done
which
that?
is which is one of the doshas that comes with meditation and yoga.
Yeah,
Right? There are three main doshas that everyone's like, yeah, well, that's again,
absolutely.
that's a topic for a different day, because that's a whole lot by itself.
100%. But they never
That
know
I'm saying
about
that,
things. They don't know about doshas. They don't know about samosas. Nothing. You know.
yeah.
But
No, no,
it's
because
consistent.
no, again, as I know we're gonna be going out, I love that, I love that Mahadev in the form of Kal Bhairava or Bhairavi, which two names that you will know because why? In Shivitism, in this aspect of that going Rajatatama, you guys will worship Mahadev in the aspect in Maha as the form of Mahakal and Maha in the form of Mahakali, but yet you will worship and acknowledge him as in the form of Bhairava and Ma in the form of Bhairavi in aspect. Likewise in Devi worship or Tantric worship is the same aspect. There's so much blissful awakening that is put out there and is not taught in its entirety. It is not taught or taught in its authenticity and the way it's supposed to. For
Yeah.
those who know me, for the time you have met me on Jordan's Live till now, and those who came to know me as Tantra Child, who knows me as Ravi, the real person behind Tantra Child, has known that I have always stood by scripture. I have always stood by the doctrines because though that knowledge is the only thing that is going to ferry you from where you are to where you need to be because everything is there. You have your receipts, as Jordan says. You have your history. You have everything that you need to understand to help you to nurture, to grow. If you have to be pruned in any aspect, you have to be shaken. It is there within the scriptures. It
Yeah.
gives you, and you're not the only person going to experience. You will see where the Devas had conflict, Ram had a conflict, Krishna had conflicts,
Yes.
right? We had that. We see many things. When we think about, okay, going back to Lord Vishnu, when Lord Vishnu, when Shankarchud, which is actually Mahadev's third eye in body form, in human form, when Tulsi Mata was betrayed by Vishnu Dev and the veil of her purity was broken from protecting him because she was so pure in nature that her love for him and her devotion as a wife protected him that not even Mahadev could have destroyed him, could have
Mm,
more or less destroyed him.
absolutely.
When he was that had happened and he was this was up he was beheaded and there it is they were taking the gunners and Lord Shiva was going to take the body now and toss it into the fire to be burnt. Lord Vishnu comes and tell him, no, don't. Do not do that. That is my beloved devotee, my beloved friend and devotee. And they're like, huh? And we know the backstory to where Radha and Sudama had an argument. So where
Yes.
Sudama states Radha tells Sudama that you're acting like her because he was arguing with her because she only wants to keep Krishna to her by herself. He said that is you're arguing so much me like a demon. She says, go upon the earth, take birth upon the earth as a demon. Who does he comes as? Shankarchud. He comes as Varun's stepson, but that was actually Lord Shiva's third eye energy in body form. That is Sudama curses Radha that in the Leela, in the story of Radha and Krishna, they will never be joined. They are joined as Lakshmi, as in Lakshmi and Vishnu. They are joined as in the aspect on earth as Ram and Lakshmi, as Ram and Sita, but they're never joined as Radha and Krishna because we know Krishna marries Rukmani.
Yeah.
And that is Radha is not joined with Krishna upon the earth, but in Vaikunth they're together. So there's a lot of people know that when Shankarchud's body is thrown into the ocean, what happens? His body, the marrow in his bones becomes what? shell. What shells comes out of that? We get shellfish, we get lobsters, we get crabs, we get shrimp. But we also get the conch that we blow, the sunk that we blow.
Yes.
We get the song that we blow for victory and all the different pujas that we
There's
perform.
nothing more beautiful than that sound.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's nothing beautiful, right? And there is, how many people know that that song, there is a male form, and every so often you get the feminine form. What is the male form? The male form is when the opening is to your left. There's a Lakshmi form where the opening of the shank is to your right, where you use it in puja to offer milk or dar when you're doing Vishnu puja, to bathe Shaligram or all these different things when you're doing Krishna or Vishnu puja. A lot of people don't know these things. These are the little pearls of things that they need to have. They need to, because why? People are hungry for it.
yes.
And we don't get that. We don't get that in our
Your
spell.
wealth of knowledge. Yes. In the different.
I read too much. I read too much.
No. I mean, like, that's the beauty of Sanatana Dharma, like, knowing those things, and like you were asking, like, who is this person, Blissful Awakening, and it's like,
Right.
it's like this, it's a aspect of me that literally went through all these different teachings, and like, it's like an Upanishad to sit nearby. To sit nearby what? And it's like just perceiving what is.
Right.
And so that's been who I am as a person. Is the person who's constantly trying to understand, what is this all about? What am I all about? What is my potential? And
Yeah.
experiencing that, sharing it with other people. That's always been my thing. But I will say, one of the things in this life that I can't ignore, that's been very imperative in my spiritual journey towards moksha, is learning how to be alone, learning how to detach. That has been my life since birth till now. You heard my story. So my path of detachment is very important in my life now. And it's something that I'm working towards every day, and it's not easy. It's very difficult.
No point. I can understand where you're coming from, because I did go through your profile with a fine tooth comb, and I went through to say, because okay, if I'm going to do this live, I need to understand who Blissful Awakening is. What's the concept? Is there anything that he will give me for free via his videos to who's the person behind? And you gave me a lot. I saw a lot of stuff. We saw the individual who is, as much he's a man, he is still a child, and he's enjoying this childhood of learning, of stumbling and picking himself up and learning the values of life and spirituality, and having friends to sit and share moments, laughter, break bread, communion, whatever. We saw, I think I saw a video with your little one.
Yeah, Alyssa.
All right. So I saw the aspect that, okay, he's a father. We saw that aspect of nurturing, caring, protectiveness, and whatever. So we saw that. But I also saw something that I want to bring to the forefront. I saw a video, and you'll know one particular video. And once I said that one particular video, I saw where we saw we saw a different part of you. I saw a different aspect of you. Something that I advocate for, something that I don't like. Right? And this brings me to where the community is concerned. What do you swear? And I'm going to split it in two ways. What in the Hindu community, right, one, is wrong right now? What is going wrong in the Hindu community right now? Because we see a lot of things happening. From your perspective, what do you see wrong happening with the majority or some of the Hindu communities that we have on TikTok?
On TikTok, well,
Now, mind you, wait, hold up. Before you answer, know one thing. This live, like every other live that I've done on Roundtable, this live is your live, which means there's no bad hold. You have no restrictions. You want to let loose, you let loose. This is where it is. If you had to get something off your chest, you get some off your chest. But I want it because I saw that video and it spoke to me in so many different ways, because that for me was a point I connected with you more, because how you felt in that particular video is how I felt. I felt the same exact same way about certain things that are happening within the community. So I want you to tell me, and you don't have to go in exact to who, whatever. We're not going to call nobody name. But what have you noticed that is wrong right now, that is taking place within the Hindu community and community on the whole, as in TikTok?
The thing is, people want to talk about things that they don't experience. I'm okay, just like you, Tantra. I don't mind people reading sastras. I don't mind that at all. I actually believe that it would be great for people too, because you have something to refer to.
Right.
But if you only know things from academic or from a knowledge perspective, that's great, but it won't help you. What will help you is to actually is the grit. Like you have to understand that when you start moving towards enlightenment, you're going to be faced with a lot of things.
Right.
And so what bothers me is that there's people who talk about a lot that know very little. And so knowing something and experiencing them are two different avenues. I want people to realize they're almost like two different universes.
Right.
At least when we're talking about Hinduism. Because sometimes things sound very logically based and it sounds very mapped out. But as we just talked about, things can be very uncertain, and it's about inquiry. It's
Right.
about being able to say, okay, well, I know Brahman is just existence.
Right.
And I know what Parabrahma is, and I am one with that. And when I leave the body, I'll be Parabrahma. But it's like, but if you already just say that, then where's the inquiry? If it was just that easy, then you should be enlightened. So I think that my biggest issue is that as much as people say that they know a lot of things, are you steering people in the right direction, or is it just like I was saying before before you came back, or is it just for attention seeking? Or is
Right.
it just for is it just for your ego, or is it just to build your own community, and just to be different from other people, to just be controversial, just to be controversial? Is it really just that you want to like have like togetherness and share ideas, or is it more to cause like a little bit chaos? And I just don't see a lot of togetherness, and I don't really see authentic Hinduism as I see it. And even if it's not the same as my tradition, I would still like to think that it comes from the actual roots, the roots of the tradition, not what we see in today's time, where I've seen a lot of times it's almost like even gurus are almost like their own religion, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand exactly where you come from.
It's so many things. So I would just say that my biggest problem is when I came on TikTok, I wanted to authenticate Hinduism. And I feel
Right.
like in some way, shape, or form, there's been a lot of people who've caused more division and really has talked about what Hinduism is not what it is.
Yeah, you're correct. When I did your journey is similar to mine. When I came on TikTok, it was the same thing. I came on to see what people was doing, what it was about Hinduism, what they were doing, to kind of get an idea of how I would go about it. And what I saw, there were some things I was okay with, but then there were some things that was very disheartening, because it was, as you said, and I want to I want to put something here. When you mentioned the aspect, what you doing it just for your ego, when you mentioned that, how ironic. In Trinidad, rain was, if you notice, when I came back from outside, I was kind of almost like I got wet, because rain was falling. When you just said ego, at the minute you said ego, thunder crackled and lightning flashes is made. My God, they're hearing him. because you spoke truth, because it was a lot of people was about ego. It was what I want to project about me, not about what it is. And I see a lot of people out there that are about Hinduism, and they only projected one side. They're only projecting one side. It's like, okay, well, there's the other side. There are other stuff. And they're only projecting one aspect. They're only more or less giving references and doctrines from just one or two, maybe three particular doctrines in aspect, and they're not going that way. And I decided for me, I was like, okay, I can't go that way because my personal aspect, I was so much about Shakta. Everything was Shakta, 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 Shakta. And then my spiritual mommy, my Parameshri, my Angala Parameshri, because my roots is from South India worship. She's like, I love that you want to take care of your brothers and sisters that are in Shakti worship. But what about my children, your other brothers and sisters that are Vaishnava? Are they not my children also? What about them? You cannot feed this one and don't feed them. You cannot protect this one without protecting them. And it's like, okay, fine. It's like, did I not give you to a Vaishnava mother and a Shakta father? There was a purpose. There was a reason. You are from both sides. You have to balance.
Yes.
And this is what I have tried to do in all my lives, where I can be that diverse to speak about the Ramayans, I can speak about the Gitas, the Puranas, and all the different things I need to. So if one is going to come and tell me, well, the Gita said so and so, I'm like, okay, yeah, I know the Gita says that, but the Ramayana said so. And which one of the Ramayana too? Are we going to talk about the Kambara Ramayana, the Valmiki Ramayana, the Ananda Ramayana, or the Tulsidas? There's so much. Which one? I have read all. So this is what. And my dear brother, our brother Hughes is Jordan, where he always talks about receipts.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
He talks about receipts. Don't have that.
Because you never know you're gonna have an audit.
when Jordan and I connected, whatever,
Uh-huh.
I was looked up on, right? Because they wanted to know, were I just like the others, or was I going to be different? And by me doing what I was doing as Tantra child, I proved that I was different, because I gave you scriptures, I gave you references, I gave you the stories and all these different things. And this was before John and I actually literally connected. When I did my very first live, where I was the person behind, not joining with somebody, but didn't, and I was controlling everything, Jordan came up on my life on that particular night, and we connected from that point. And everyone else, because Pika was always there, and everyone else came in one by one. And that is how, by being around them too, Tantra Child names started to spread. Because why? He was a new kid on the block, and it's like, you want to hear stories, you want to hear scripture, go to Tantra Child's live. You're going to get all your stories, you're going to get. And I try to create a space that you are more than welcome to come in, sit down, and you will feel engaged to ask questions. Yes. And I always implore people, ask. Don't think might be a stupid question, or it might not be of any significance or merit. Because what you might think might not have much merit or essence might be the most profound thing you ask that I can explain that would be meaningful to a lot of people. And I give that an aspect. But for me, there's too much rage beating. There's too much antagonizing. There's too much poking, ridiculing of other religions, other paths, and I cannot be a part of that. I, as Ravi, as Tantra Child, cannot be a part of that. That is for me personally. I cannot be a part of that. There's too much.
That also irked me. I will not lie. I've partaken in that, and a lot of it had to do with I was in this space of feeling as though if we talked about it and we showed our animosity towards the injustice done to Hindus,
right,
it would awaken a type of like I would say a togetherness or a unity, but it didn't do that. What it did do was I feel it creates more hatred in the way that you almost judge a person just for being so-called religious.
No, yeah, but eventually, yes, you're correct. And what we saw happening is what you hate, what people hated most is what they became.
Yeah.
Became before it started with you defending, and then it switched. You became the person that was persecuted now.
Yeah.
Because now you are persecuting the other faith of what might be flaws or crevices or whatever in their doctrines or their philosophy. Now you're ridiculing and mocking as like, no, you're lowering yourself to their standards. Let them speak as they speak. Fine, go ahead. But there's so much more. Sing the glories of Ma, sing the glories of Krishna, sing the glories of the Devis, of Vishnu, whoever. Sing the glories of them and let people know let them know about that milk and honey, that Panch Amrit in aspect. Let them learn about that Panch Amrit. It has that nectar, that sweetness.
Yes.
And let them learn about that they come to sit. And I will say something out here, and he's in live, and you call him Bhagwan. I, in all my aspect of doing a live, never thought I would have the attention of Alien T. Because I saw his live, and his live was like, my Lord, it's like looking at a skyscraper. Yeah. It's like when I went to Canada, and first time I saw a tall building, it's like, okay then. Right, like this. He will know what I'm talking about, like looking at the CN Towers in Canada, downtown. Yeah. I was like, kidding? And his life was like that. It's like he was up there. He was literally up there. And it's like, me have his attention. And Pika was in the background making the moves and advocating for us to connect. But we did. And I will give you a fast forward about it. It reached the point that I went live earlier. Alien T is going out live at 10 o'clock. This man came in my life at 8:45 and stayed on until 9:45 before he goes to his live. Because normally his ritual, he would take an hour just to do what he does.
Right.
Then go into his live at 10 o'clock and he does. He came into my live and stayed on my live, asking questions. Bless people, because why? The atmosphere was beautiful. The conversation was lit. It was impactful. Everybody was there involved. And he felt that aspect, that energy, and he came in. All right? He came in here instead of meditating. He came in, he stayed there, and I acknowledged that. I said, could we acknowledge that Aaron T is on my live, and he has to go his live on this one? And that's the impact that I had, and I'm humbled by that every so often. To have great individuals like Gigi, Astro, Sarah Lynn, Jordan when he's here, Pika that comes and just asks me a lot of questions, but I love her questions, and I love to give her stories, and everyone, Beth and all of them that comes in to ask me to more or less pick my brain and have me give all the stories and whatever. I love to be able to I'm doing that. But this is where we are. I can sit with that crowd. And I love going to their lives and learning from there's so much I learn from all of them.
I learned
when I just need to relax up to a point and just taking a vibe, I'll go to Alien T's live. All right. Yeah. If I want to go and test my discipline, I'll go to the dojo and sit with Jordan. I'll go into his live and do that. And there's so much things, and there's so much others that I have met in aspects. Yeah. And the other that I could pop into a room, and the minute I pop in a room, before I can say Vanakkam or good evening, auntie and uncles, you just see messages come up saying Vanakkam, Sitaram, Tantra Child. Like, yeah, that I can do.
Yeah.
No disrespect to my brothers and sisters who are advocating, but you're taking it a little too far. You're taking it a little too far. Be it you're being ridiculed, be it you're being persecuted because you're worshiping a cow. Okay, fine, we worship a cow. Whoopsie do.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I started on TikTok because of a Christian video, and it actually propelled me to start making Hindu content because people loved it. I was like, this dude has the audacity to talk about Hinduism. And
no, well, everybody will do that. Everybody will do that, Josh. 100. And that would never end. You would become an old person. You'll become a grandfather to your grandkids down in the years, go down, and it will still happen. Your grandkids will go through the same thing. It was happening with our ancestors. It will continue after we have become dust. 100. It will happen, it will continue. It will still go that way. But that doesn't mean we have to stop doing what we do. That is why I do what I do in that aspect, because there's much more. There's much more to this. And I was like, really, seriously? They're not going to stop. So this is what? Yeah. Allow them their space. Uh-huh. Right. You know, there's so much to be done, and it's like, you know what? It is what it is. Let people do. And I was like, I stayed in my corner. I mean, I lost one or two people that I respected because everybody thought that because I was a new kid on the block, I would associate it and I would join. I would join there with my signs and hey, we doing. It's like no, I can't. I grew up among Christians. I went to church. I went to church. I actually have a Bible.
Yeah.
People like Benny Hinn, um, Pastor Rod Parsley, T.D. Jakes. I grew up watching these guys. Jimmy Swaggart in the 80s. I grew up watching Jimmy Swaggart in the 80s and the 90s. I grew up again watching these people on a Sunday. So, and I have my own Bible. I know about Gospels. I listen to Ron Canole, and all these others I grew up listening to. I have Gospels because I'm not just a Hindu alone. I do acknowledge other faiths. So I cannot be prejudiced, even though somebody is from that faith. That person has the problem. It's not the faith. It's the person is in the faith.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to crucify a whole faith because of one person.
That's
And
true.
if they don't understand their doctrines, because why? You and I know there are people within Hinduism that don't know their doctrines, don't know the true history, and they're running 100 miles per hour with just one or two notions or one or two things they have heard, and they're running as though it's gospel. It is the living truth and nothing but the truth.
Yeah, I think the problem came about was because I think it was something that everybody was thinking and everybody was feeling, right?
All right.
This pain of or it just experiences like that this stuff is happening and it doesn't get a lot of light. And like
Right.
you said, I think that it got pushed too far because people can't do this in their everyday life. So
Right.
it's a projection of everything that you would like to say,
Mm-hmm.
but you get so much more penalized for it. Like if I go outside and I say the things that I feel, there could be a lot of repercussions for that. But saying it behind a screen can sometimes be a little bit more comforting to people.
Yeah, no, but point taken. And let's bring something close to home to us.
Mm.
Knowing that who you are or your ethnic, your who you are. Okay, I'm Indian. You're not Indian like me.
Right.
So somebody's gonna watch you and it's like, what does he know about Sanatan Dharma? He's not Indian, so he's not Hindu. Just because you don't have straight hair, just because your tone of skin is not like mine, because you may not have an Indian name like me, because okay, my name is Ravi, my full name is Ravindra. That was the name given to me by my mom and my dad. Then we have the Rasi name that is given to by the pundit when they check your charts. Right? So we have that. So many people might watch you when if you're doing Sanat, doing thing about Hinduism or Shaivism, what do you know about Shaivism? You're not a Hindu. What do you want to? And that is what they're going to do. They're just going to look at how you look, and for that you knows nothing. Just because of how you look, you're not supposed to know anything. And for me, that is wrong.
Yeah.
That is wrong. Because I have met people as Tantra child on TikTok who are not Indians, who are white people.
Yeah.
And they know more about Hinduism and they're curious about it and they're willing to learn so much and sit down and learn about it in aspect. And they are humble. They are hungry and they are humble to learn about this aspect of what we call Sanatan Dharma. They want to learn about Kali Mata. They want to learn about Vinayak, which is Ganesh. They want to learn about Kartikeya Skand. Some people are having experiences. I have friends that are having experiences, and all 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm getting a phone call because why? They're emotional because they had an experience with Mahadev or Makali or Kartikeya, and they want to understand what is happening to them.
What's happening?
And for me, and I try my best to explain to them. I go off in the Tantra style and go into the Vedas and the Puranas, but I try to explain to them what they're happening and to just show them that enjoy that journey because why? It was meant for you. That touch, the experience is meant for you. And to this day, they love that I gave them that time, they understood what I was telling them. They saw it manifest in their life, and they're in a better place. They are more stable and all these different things,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
you have that aspect. Now that we have identified what is wrong, what do you think we need to do more?
We need to, it's like, you got to know where you stand on things.
Right.
And I don't care if a Christian does something wrong, like, or a Muslim does something wrong, or a Jewish person does something wrong, or a Hindu does something wrong. If you see injustice anywhere, you should not be for it. And I've
Right.
seen people. One of the reasons why I don't do lives anymore is because I've seen how comfortable people are with associating with people who are against what we have built. And then not only that, but Tantra, like you're fairly new, and I respect you because I'll be
All
the
right.
first to say that Tantra Child's the most knowledgeable person when it comes to sastra, when it comes to practice, when it comes to ritual, when it comes to anything. Like I can see, and I've heard him speak. He's the most he would be the most authentic person on TikTok that I've heard.
Thank you.
And I've been on here for a little over a year, so
Right.
I know what your potential and your knowledge capability. But the thing is, I have seen people defending people saying like, oh, this is like these people are fobs, and that's not okay.
No,
I'm
it's not.
totally against that, and if that means to remove myself, then I will do that because I can't be associated with people who condone bullshit. So I just want to say that the thing is that you have to call people out when they're wrong, and if you're not willing to do that, then Hindus will never be safe because if you can't even call your own people out, how can you ever form a community? Because one thing is for certain: not all empires fell because of invaders or foreign bodies. It was also
True.
people from the inside of the kingdom.
Yeah, very much true. You
And
know,
that's the
as
problem.
as most I think if I could quote it correctly, if you don't stand up for something, you will fall for everything.
Imagery.
I mean, if you're not advocating, you're standing up for truth, then you're allowing the bigotry and all the things that is wrong. You're actually supporting that in aspect. I have been conflicted with that. I would say, I have been up to recent. I have been conflicted with that, and I got slapped in the face. It's like, what did I create you for? You are Tantra Child. I created you to talk truth, to speak truth. This is your nature. You are not meant to be liked. You are not meant to be loved. So do what you have to do. People wait, because when you have people like Mark Carly will say, what, people hate me. I am the goddess of this. I am the goddess of that. People hate me. But the minute that person who speaks lowly of me or discriminates me or whatever, the minute they call me Ma, I am to turn around to them and in a very loving voice as a mother, child, what do you seek?
Absolutely.
I cannot turn away from them, because if I do that, then I become something different. It's like you're studying you, study what people have done for me for how many years since the beginning of time,
Yeah.
right? And at the end of the day, it is just another human you're going to go up against. If people don't like your truth, then so be it, because they prefer to go to sleep with a lie than to have the truth set them free.
Yeah.
That is how it's going to be. And I was conflicted with that because why? It reached a point that I had to debunk some things with people that I became friends with or I became acquainted with, because it didn't align to what I was taught
Yeah.
and what I learned, and it went against the grain in that aspect. So yeah, it's difficult. It's for me. It's easier for me to digest someone from an outside faith criticizing and persecuting. You see, when it is from someone from within, that is when it hurts more. I
It
could
hurts more,
understand that we worship a cow, we do this, we do that, blah blah blah. Okay, fine. We have 100 hands. Our gods have 100 hands. This, that. One's like a monkey. I could understand. I could live with all that. One has an elephant head. Blah blah blah. I could live with all that. Demonize it. Call it that. We are doing demonized work. We are worshiping idols, murtis, whatever. Go brave.
Yeah.
I would sit down with popcorn and a soft drink, and yeah, you continue. I good. And I will be normal, and I will not raise my voice against you. But when you have it within the faith itself, within that aspect of faith that you are part of, that is when it hurts more. That is when that is when it hurts.
Yeah, like because, to burn bridges about the word God. Like that was so stupid. That should have never happened. No one ever had a problem with the word God. It was just that, and I kind of was at the forefront of this. This was something that I thought was foremost for Hindus, is to stop using English words to convey our understanding of things. Right. Like, for example, stop using the word soul, say Atma. Maybe we can use consciousness. Maybe that's a little bit more of a gray area, but outside of that, we could always use so many other words to explain.
I got a question. I have a jacket because you mentioned something that I hear repeated all the time.
Okay.
What's the difference between God and Bhagwan?
Okay, that's like it's like an analogy. Mm-hmm. Bees don't go around telling flies why honey's better than shit. So, right. So it's the idea is that God is a man-made concept. God is a human experience projected, this all-powerful being who seems to be beyond time and space, who perceives to be all that ever is, but he's separate from his creation. Bhagwan is a reference. It is a understanding that there is something to be. It's like a potential. It's like a seed. Bhagwan is something that is actually in existence. It's always moving. It is all pervasive. It is infinite in its nature. Bhagwan is something that everyone has the potential to be. So when I think of the word Bhagwan, I give that as a respect, but it's to show that person that they are that divine.
Right.
That it's not outside of you.
Okay, which leads me to my next question.
Yeah.
If you and I are watching a mountain from two different angles,
okay,
is you're watching from the south, I'm watching from the north, is the mountain different?
From our perception, but no, the mountain's the same. Right.
So you see God as an aspect. You see Mahadev in the form of Bholanath, in the form of Bhagwan or Swami. I might see him in the aspect of God. Same Mahadev. So, all right, let's use the names. Bhutnath, Mahadev, Bholanath, Shiv Shankar, and so forth. Different names. Same one person. Yes, we have been, I would not say indoctrinated, I would not say programmed. Yes, because of the educational system that has helped us to learn how to read, to write, and to understand language and whatever, has more or less come with a particular faith, fine. That faith is not at fault. Because why? If you call Mahadev or Bhagwan, and I call him God, if someone calls Kali Mata, Mata or Ma or Mother, is there a difference? It's the same. So why beat down the aspect of one little word to try to prove that we are mighty, we are all this?
Well,
it's like, what?
I would prefer the word Godel. Generator, operator, destroyer is God. But generator, operator, destroyer, pull out a delusion and liberate. That I feel is the real distinction. If we're going to be honest, we can. It's more of a. a conceptual thing.
Right.
I agree with you. I don't think that this community should have been torn for it. I think though that it's good to put things into perspective, but also it's treating everybody's tradition with fairness. Like I understand not everybody is a Shivite. So
Right.
when I'm in a room with Shaktas, we talk about Ma. I understand that when I talk to, like for example, there's some people who are Vaishnavas, but there's a type of Vaishnava.
No, look, forgive me on that point. Okay, I understand what you just said, right? But you're sitting with a Shakta, and we have spoken about Shivitism, which I acknowledge and know the difference between Kashmir Shivitism, which you're a part of,
Yeah.
and the other one. So
What I mean
I can't.
is like so many times, like we don't have a. There was a point where we didn't have any Shakta live,
Right.
like whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
So for the first time, I was like, let's just talk more about Shaktism. Let's talk more about the feminine aspect of feminism. That's what I mean.
Right.
We can talk
All
about
right.
everything full compass, but I mean like, but let's give respect. Let's be more. Uh, let's get more deep. Like Brother Bob always says, let's get deeper in
Yeah.
this subject, and that's
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
saying. But I don't think the community should have been torn over it. I just think that
Mm-hmm.
we do have to just be mindful about what we say, what we do, what we think,
Right.
and know why we're doing it. I think that that's sometimes what we don't understand. Why are we doing something? And we
All
never
right.
ask ourselves that sometimes.
True. 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 All right. Cool. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Is there any projects that Blissful Awaken is working on? Is there anything that any collaborations or anything that is coming up now? You said, I know that you said that you have kind of like dialed it down or kind of paused doing lives, which I respect, but I think that's about to change because based on the crowd that we have and the people in the comment section and the discourse we are having, the dialogue we're having, I think a lot of people will want to see a part two, part three, part four, a series to you and I going at it where Hinduism is concerned. A lot of people is
I
going to
like
wonder,
that.
I want to have that, where we could divulge more into the aspect of Shivitism and Shakta. We could go
I love
more in
that.
depth to that, so we could do those more in time. All right. So, is there anything that you are working on right now, or you're just going with the flow? However, Bhagwan's unveils it or reveals it, you're going with the flow.
I'm just really going with the flow right now. I feel though there's a lot of pains of the past, a lot of grieving that I'm going through, and the thing that's most important is not to judge it, not to be mad at it, not to be, ashamed of myself or anything like that. It's literally to just go through each process, each
Right.
day, and keep feeling it and feeling it and feeling it, and understanding that this is normal, that this is natural, and
Right.
that there's nothing wrong with having all these experiences or emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they have to be worked through. That's the only way to heal in life, is to work through them. Um,
Nah.
and if that also means to detach or isolate yourself, then that's what you have to do.
Right.
My biggest dream, I'll tell you this much, is
All right. Right.
if I could spend like a year in a jungle or in the wilderness somewhere for a year and not have any association with anyone. That would be something I would love to have. And the reason for that is to really deconstruct
All right.
more social things, but it gives you time to really be with yourself.
Right.
A lot of times, like, we'll sit in silence, we might have a 15-minute meditation, whatnot, but like we
Right.
never really get to be immersed with ourselves. So
True.
um one of the things that I can say for me is that like when it comes to people that I'm meeting in my personal life, um, we'll be planning trips and going to like different mountain spots. Like
Yeah,
there's a lot of
yeah,
mountains over here, and just
yeah,
meditating.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
No
I understand.
teaching.
I understand what you're saying. For me, I would like to go on an experience like that, because of late, there's a lot of people that I've come across in the community that have started chopping wood and toting water. And I know that she's gonna laugh because she's in the live right now. A lot of people have been chopping wood and toting water.
What is this
You know,
ceremony?
nope, it's humble.
Oh, it's humble. Oh, I believe it. What's humble been hiding that? Yeah,
All
I see
right,
it now.
all right.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
now comes the favorite part of the live, where I'm gonna put my guest on the hot seat. This is gonna be fun.
All right.
And seeing that they're going to see you, they're going to say, "This is what I am going to call, right, certain names within the community,
Mm-hmm.
and I want you to give me what comes to your mind." Now, when I did it with ANT, I made it difficult for him, where he had one word to use.
Oh, damn.
You don't, and I had to change. Eventually, I did change it with the other guests. So you're not restricted to one word or two word.
Okay.
You just say what comes to your mind.
Okay.
And seeing that I mentioned Alien T, I will go with him first. What comes to your mind when you think of Alien T?
That one's hard. One word. Um,
Well, you can
the
use the
first
word
thing,
that you call him. You can use the word that you
I
associate
think
him with.
definitely Bhagwan, but when I think of Alien T, I think of somebody who there's no word to describe him. He's just such an amazing person.
Uh huh.
He's you don't really meet a lot of genuine people. Like you just don't meet them every day. He's a type of genuine person. You always know who's there for you. You might not talk to
True.
him for 5 weeks, but you know that he's always there. He's
Yeah, you're
always
correct.
there
Yeah.
to support you. Yeah.
No, you're
That's
correct. You're
what I'm
correct.
gonna say.
I mean, I have been to Canada. My sister lives in Canada. She lives in Burlington. I came to find out that Alien T is a Canadian. If I never went to Canada before and I met him first, he would have been one of the factors I go because of his persona, because the way he has been. From the
Mm.
minute I have met him, he has been a friend. He became a brother. He tells me that I resemble his brother-in-law. Forgive me that there's two people that ugly in this world, but such is life. Me and his brother to be that ugly. That's a deadly combination. But he has been someone. He has been there when I was now coming in and owning my craft as doing my own lives. He gave me pointers of how to carry about the conversations and whatever while he was on my life, and he has been that factor in aspect. So it has been that, and so he is a great person. I don't think there are words in the English library, in the English language, that we could utilize to describe the impact he has and his
Yeah.
persona.
Yeah,
All
absolutely
right.
not. But I will say, he really cares about people, and
Yep. Hmm.
he takes it a lot of measures to make sure that people have a space to heal, and that's a big job.
Right. True. All right. Let's go to the spoiled child, Jordan. Universal theory.
Oh man, you know what? That dude, you made it so hard for me. I really admire Jordan because I don't see a lot of spiritual spaces where people can philosophically talk about concepts and really dissect it. I thought that was very unique.
All
And,
right.
there's certain people like Jordan, like they give you so much to think about.
Uh-huh.
And they have a way of making you think, critically think about things. Um, but you also have the space to also speak with other people and
Right.
kind of like, figure out like different concepts and different ideas, right? So I just love the mind. He has a great mind, and he's very
Yes, he
sharp.
does. Yes, he is. He
So
is. Yes, he is.
yeah,
Does.
he's a philosopher. Yeah, he's a
Yeah. Well, Jordan was actually when my first episode of the Round Table. He was the first guest. He was my first guest.
Oh man, okay.
He was the first. He was the one that I chose. I handpicked. If I'm going to do this, because everybody, since him and I had connected, everybody been clamoring for him and I to have discussions. So we did the first time, but it wasn't like tit for tat, a versus battle. We discussed the same thing that we were discussing him here about his background and everything that he was doing. But every so often, we would meet on a live. I will be honest, I'll go to his live and we will have discussions. He will say things, he will ask my references or however. And the respect he has for people once you're being authentic and you are one who's willing to go down in the trenches and do work, that man is there. He
Yeah.
will be there to help you.
Yes.
I Patricia, yeah, he's willing to go
He
down
doesn't
there.
like cast.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So it has been awesome. Him and I have had many of conversations about different things. We have true things. Right now I owe him a live because we supposed to speak about Brahman,
Oh,
and I
nice.
haven't gotten around. Yeah, we're supposed to have that. So it does that pattern. So next in line, Pixie,
Oh,
the Hellcat.
she's amazing. Oh my god.
I made
just
her cry
love
in my
her.
life.
Like I'll call her and she always just makes me feel better. She's always there. She's a great friend. She'll give you great advice. She's a great listener. She might not think so, but she is a great listener. She is.
Yeah, she is. She is. She is.
Oh man. Sometimes you have people in your life you're just like they just shine so bright, you know?
Yeah. Mhm.
And she's that type of person. I
Yeah.
love Pixie.
Yeah. Having her on my live was one of the most amazing things I did. I went to a live that she was doing, and I didn't go there with the intention of asking to be to be on the round table.
Yeah.
And something just clicked, and I was like, ask her. And I did ask her. And I didn't realize the impact it would have to her because she started to cry. Because she never thought that someone would pause their life or stop what they're doing to study or acknowledge what she's doing.
Yeah.
To say that I would love to have you on my live to sit down and discuss who you are, what you're about, and all these different things. And there were others like Beth and all them. It's like, no, you deserve to sit down, and it's an honor.
She did.
Yeah,
It was such a good round table. I enjoyed that.
All right. So, all right. So from Pixie, let's go to the next problematic one, which I call her. She's the Harley Quinn, Pika.
Pika, okay, so I don't know a lot about Pika, but I do know, from what I do know about her, because I've talked to her just a handful of times. She's someone who really respects, she has like a good grasp and respect for friendship. She seems like a person who really like has like your back. Like she seems like
Nice.
the type of person. I like a person who they they have backbone. She seems like someone who has a lot of backbone. I like that in a
Yeah.
person.
Yeah. That.
She seems very genuine, very caring over people. That
Yes, she is.
about or around her.
She is.
So
Yes, she very much is. There are things when I was looking to shape Tantra Child into an entity, she was very instrumental in helping me, got me with Discord and all these different things and so forth, and to how I do the round table. She was the one that did as I told you earlier, she's the one who did the graphics
she's
and
even
so forth.
artistic. So
Yeah, so she is that an aspect. So she is very much caring. She's very much in tune to everyone, and she feels a lot. She is an empath, and she feels a lot. A lot of people may not understand that about her, but for me, that is something that that more or less speaks out to me, because the way she feels and she cares about people, it goes beyond the aspect of just face value. It goes far more deeper. So
Mm.
it has that.
Beautiful.
Humble,
Oh, humble.
humble hearted.
I'm gonna
Chop
call her
wood.
Jamie.
Huh?
So Jamie, I remember
Uh,
actually. I remember the first time she came to my live, and I'm
right.
like, her voice is so soothing, and I was like, Tantra, I was literally just like listening to her voice, and then she would stop talking. I'm like, can you just keep talking? I was like, it's just so meditative. It was so tranquil or serene. I don't know. It was so all those words that mean peaceful, and she just has a very very beautiful energy. Um, I don't know how she couldn't grasp, like how she couldn't capture someone's attention. It's just there's some people who you just gravitate towards,
Uh-huh.
whether it's something that they say or just wanting to be around them. But Jamie, she just always comes with a positive energy. She's very insightful and yeah, very very loving, very caring type of person. Um,
Yes, she is.
she'll do any. I feel like she'll do anything for someone. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, she's one of those. Sarah Lynn.
Oh, Sarah Lynn. Well, mainly the places that I've known her from have been from Jordan's Live and Alien Teas, but
Right.
she seems like a bookworm. Like she knows a lot of things when it comes to
She is.
spirituality.
She is.
But I feel like she's still a seeker. She's still someone who wants to have many experiences, and she's interested in helping other people get there along the way as well. You know, maybe
Hmm.
if they're just starting out, or maybe they're in a rut. So she's a wealth of knowledge too.
Yes,
Um,
she is. She is. I love having her on my lives when I'm doing special discussions. She brings a lot to the table.
yeah.
She engages with the conversation, and she is one of those. All right. So you have that. So who else? Let's step across to the dynamic side.
Okay.
Let's go. No, I
I'm
mean,
gonna be
because
100%
I did
honest.
mention a few of them and they're here in the live. So I have to acknowledge some of them because they did come to show their support.
I love
So
it.
let's go with Kalki. Kalki
Oh,
G.
Kalki. Oh,
Uh,
Kalki's a brother. Kalki's a brother. He's funny as hell. I like his sense of humor. His sense of humor. I feel like a lot of people don't like dark humor, but
right.
I feel like me and Kalki we could just like go blow for blow. But he's a strong man. He's a family man. I love that. Um, he lives up to his name, Kalki. You know, he does
Yeah.
stand up
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Dharma, and he doesn't like the injustice just as much as me and you don't. So
Yeah.
he does stand up against it, and I love how he just has the ability to just be himself. A lot of people
Very much.
don't do that.
Yeah. A lot of people don't. I was told about Kalakiji, and his name was mentioned to me, but I didn't like. I mean, I didn't reach out. I didn't go looking for him, not knowing to me that my name was being thrown in the arena on the other side when conversations was being had,
Hmm.
and when it came to scripture, it was like, if you want to know, you want to get scripture, go to Tantra Child. I was like, what? When I was like, why people call my name? Until one
Yeah,
day I went to a live that he was in there where they were talking about eating meat. And I was in the room. I entered. So Kalki's like, that person that was mentioned to could give you scripture? They were like, yeah. Like, he's in alive. He just stepped in. And they pulled me up. I did my thing and I went my
hmm
way. And since that, he and I have connected. When I have done my different lives about Hinduism, he has always come once he's not working. And I try to my best to go when he's doing his one.
yeah.
Um, Om Tassat.
Om Tat Sat, man. Me and him go way back a year ago.
Uh,
Me and Om Tat Sat, like we have a good friendship. He's the type of, he's a young kid, and I love that he's so like he's just so interested in Hinduism, and it reminds me of like when I was younger. and
Mm.
like just wanting to know different things and researching and studying. And he makes the best videos.
Yeah,
I,
I
I
have
see
seen his
so many of
videos.
them. I'll save them. I'll go back to them. Sometimes I just want to like revisit it, like that verse or the sloka.
Yeah,
But he knows a good majority of
yeah.
things for his age, and I appreciate what he's doing for Sanatana Hindu Dharma. So,
Right.
uh, Otasai, like yeah, he lives up to his name. He is
All
that.
right. About Amu.
Ma'amu, oh,
Yeah, Amu.
Ma'amu, she is fierce. She's ferocious.
Yeah, she is.
don't
She is. She is.
don't let the kindness like get
No, no,
past
no.
you. She's definitely a force, and I love Ma'amu because um she always just has a way of like supporting. Like I don't care what time of night, what time of
Hmm.
day, she is on live supporting Hindu content somewhere. Like she
Right.
is.
Yeah, yeah.
I always see
No,
her.
yeah, yeah. She is in most of the major panels that advocate for Hinduism and so forth. Yeah, she is there, and
She's
and
always
she
there.
doesn't back down. She does not back down.
No,
All
no.
right. I hope I can pronounce this properly. Mini Minzy.
My mini, she's such a great person, and
Hmm.
she's a force too.
Yeah, she is.
Let her cuss you out in Punjabi. But no, she's just a sweetheart. She's so selfless. Like we've been out to eat at an Indian restaurant, and she has a way of really making you feel seen, um, and you just feel like you can express yourself, and
Right. Hmm.
you don't feel like someone's judging you. You feel like
Right.
you have like a lifelong friend.
Lovely. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Lovely. All right. So to release the pressure and the tension, this is where I switch now, and I'm going to bring up. I'm going to change the grid and bring up some of the individuals that I have mentioned here, and those who are in the live and they would like to come up now, and they now get to tell you what they think about you, what comes to them and they think about you.
Oh
So
man.
I am. So even though the individuals that I did not the persons that I did not mention in aspect. That doesn't mean you guys are forgotten. Now you guys could come up and say what you want to say to Josh. So let's bring up a few individuals. One, two. Let's bring up this one. All right, all right, all right, all right.
Oh, is Sarah went first?
Let's bring up. I'm bringing up a few. Yeah, Jordan asked to come up because he got to go just now. So I'm trying to bring him up.
Okay. Yeah. Good.
So I'm talking about that. Okay, I can bring more. Let's see who is in. Astro.
Oh, Astro. Yeah, I saw him in the comments. What's up, Astro? I'm a Scorpion fan.
Yeah, let's bring him up. Alright. Look like they're busy or something because I'm not seeing the rest of them.
Oh no, it's okay.
Alright, so let's go from this aspect. Alright, so let's start. Jordan, I know you're busy and you have stuff to do, so we will actually start with you.
Beautiful. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yep.
loud and clear, brother.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, I love him. He's my brother. He pops in sometimes, when he has time, and we always have great discourse. I've been on his live before. I was on his live. I was in his live multiple times, but I was on his live one time, and we had great discourse. There was a couple other Hindu brothers that were in there, and I was just, how I am. I come in there, I kind of tried to, see how sharp their swords were, and I was impressed. I don't know if they knew that that's what I was doing, but I was, seeing where they were at.
Right.
But he has a great smile, and it's indicative of what he represents. He has authenticity, which is necessary. You know, he's authentically seeking. He's pursuing the path. You know, he's audacious. He doesn't mind tackling, very lofty concepts. He'll follow you down the yellow brick road if need be, and surprise you. If he sees the light of correction, he'll grow towards it. You know, I noticed that about him, which is going back to authenticity. When you're authentically seeking, that's something you have to have. You see the light of correction, you grow towards it, or the nature of reality will show you otherwise. I think that his approach is respectful to the craft, and he's open-minded, which is also necessary. So I think he has a lot of great qualities, which will make for a great guru in the future, if that's what he decides, or if the Davids decide that for him. So yeah, I enjoy his company, and I'm glad to see that he's in the live with you, and you welcome to the round table, and and I appreciate this live. I gotta go, you guys. I love you guys. Namaste.
Namaste.
Be blissful. Thank you for being here.
All right.
Josh, I'm Gigi. You and I have not interacted only several, 2 or 3 times, but I must say that you were one of the first people that I was introduced to when I was embarking in my Hinduism path. And I must say that I love your content, your knowledge, you shared your PDF file, that big email you sent me, and I still have it. And I just want to say thank you and continue, you know what I mean? And I must say, when I was learning the mantras and, in my terminology, the music, right, for Hinduism and stuff, you were playing at the beginning of your live one of the songs that I have to this day. And when I met Tantra, I play it because this song, it motivates me. It encourages me. I don't know if you hear it because I have it playing in the background. Let's see if you can hear it. You were playing this. Let's see.
Oh, I love that song. I love that song.
So I got that from you. Oh, I'm getting emotional. Sorry.
Oh, me too.
I feel your energy. I got emotional. I saved that song, and I just want to say thank you because you do touch a lot of people that are embarking in this path that don't know. And I'll call myself out there. I am one of the people that call Tantra 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, having experiences. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just want to say that you were one of the first people that I was introduced to and on your lives, and I just wanted to say thank you for that. And continue. You know what I mean?
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that. And sometimes that's the hardest part about choosing not to do lives anymore. It's that because you do get to meet so many people, and just as much as I might help you guys help me too. But that doesn't mean, be a stranger. I'd still love to talk to everybody. Me and Tantra, we were just messaging for a couple of days, trying to get this set up. But I would still would love to have, know what's going on in your life. And if there's something I can do to help, you can always come to me, or, just know that, hey, you have a friend in me. It's not we have to go our own separate ways. I'm in a path of detachment, not death. So
I just wanted to say thank you real quickly and namaste. Namaste to all.
All right. This would be the perfect time to let him know that the continuation of a series of part 2, part 3, part 4 of what we started on this live, this would be something that you guys need to tell him. So he'll get in again.
I second that. As the VP, I second that. I approve. I did when Tantra came Tantra and I are friends, and we were talking about the concept, like he said, when he was describing what he wanted, I was like, the round table. And when he said Josh, he said blissful awakening. I was like, that's Josh. I was like, yeah. So I
love
like in that. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. So I appreciate that, Gigi. Thank you so much for being supportive, and I'm so glad that you're part of the community. Like, this is great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So let's start. All right. So let's go with Sarah, and then we'll come back down.
I think like another thing, like sometimes in the morning I'll be like playing like Tamil music, and you know like I live in America, like so like sometimes it's like a cultural thing. I'm just
Right.
like, nobody would like this type of music. So like the fact that she played that, it reminds me that like everyone has a tribe. Everybody has people who like what they like.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. One more thing. Just before Sarah, just before you go ahead, before you you come on. If there any other person, all right. I don't touch that. If there any other person that is in the comment section that would like to come up and express your gratitude and so forth for Josh Blissful Weekend, just send the request and I'll pull you up. All right, Sarah, you could go ahead.
Sorry, I couldn't find my mic there for a minute. I updated it in TikTok, like I moved everything. But yeah, Josh, I've seen you a lot of different spaces mainly, and I've watched a couple of your lives when you used to go live, but I kind of watch from the background, especially in the beginning. And I see you a lot and interact with you a lot in Universal Theories, and of course I hear you on AT's live sometimes. You are always a very balanced person who really takes the time to explain things to people. And I understand why you're not going live. Sometimes we go through these places in our life where we need to not do what we used to do. And then sometimes we come back to it. I did that for a little while as well. So I look forward to seeing you coming back. It's always a pleasure to be around you. You're very grounding.
Thank you. Thank you so much, because I've been crashing out. If only y'all knew. But at the same time, it's beautiful because sometimes it's nice to just feel something, and it shapes you. It's made me a better person because I'm able to relate to people in a way that I've never related to people before. But I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I'll be crashing out. But there is a beauty in it, and I appreciate you for saying that, because in some way, shape, or form, that is even grounding for myself, and I'm learning that as well. So it's all learning. But thank you so much for the kind words.
Yeah, I look at it kind of. Oh, sorry. I look at it kind of like cycles. I've had a couple of cycles where that it's like, you get out there, you do all the things because you feel almost compelled to, and then you take a step back and you start to do it again, and you're like, no, this doesn't feel right. So you go back and you sit with self and you meditate and you rest and you do what's right there in front of you. And it gives you a newfound beauty for that world so that you can get back out there and do it again later. That's my experience for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely cycles, like 4 seasons. Yes. Thank you so much, everyone.
All right, cool. Sean?
Good evening. Hope you're all well. Hope everyone's having a blessed day. Always a pleasure to see you, Tantra.
Before you continue, I would just like to know how far down your list that I am on your live, because I would like to be interviewed. Let's put it out there. I would like to be interviewed.
If you check your DMs, Tantra, you'll find that you have one.
Oh, so my invite. My invite is here. So okay, cool. So my apologies. I'll check it.
Sorry, I'm just being asked to do something else at the same time.
Not a problem.
But you're on there, Tantra. There's no point for you to reply back to me.
All right, cool, my brother.
I work a little bit differently to you, though, Tantra. I ask the hard questions. I ask the questions that the spiritual people don't want to answer. Yeah,
I've seen that. I'll give you that. Yeah, you do ask some difficult questions.
Looks like you guys are gonna have something soon, so
Yeah,
you
so,
have
but
to promote that. You're gonna have to promote
that's gonna be our thing. But all right, so Sean, this is your time to express your gratitude, and what is your thoughts when it comes to Blissful Awakening?
Well, this is the first time I've come across Blissful Awakening, if I'm completely honest.
Oh, okay,
I
okay,
just
okay,
saw
okay.
everyone was jumping up, and then you just said, but obviously, I'm sure you're a beautiful soul. You seem. I was just watching the live here, so
All right.
you hold yourself very well and everything. So yeah, it'd be good. I have sent you a follow now, mind you, like I say. So hopefully I will start catching you in some lives now and seeing what you do and what you're all about and everything like that. So I do look forward to that, most certainly. But generally, to be fair, we have all these people here in the boxes as well as in the chat and stuff, and they're all quite good judge of characters. Some of them a bit questionable, I'm not going to lie, but most of them, to be honest with you, are good judge of characters.
I wonder who he's actually talking about.
They generally vouch well, so if they say yeah, he's a good person, you should go and see what they're about, and that's what I do. But just a bit like you, Tantra, I just like to bring the community together and people to meet people who wouldn't normally. Like I say, I'm in Europe, so that there's you wouldn't get on the FYP or anything over in our country unless you have like 1 million likes. Do you know what I mean? That's what you have to do to get abroad. So it's quite nice when we do get like this, and you get on my channel, then you get to see, and then you get exposure to other people, like-minded people, and that's what I think we need to do.
Yes, very much true.
Yeah. UK?
UK, yeah.
Yeah. I plan on going back eventually one day.
Oh yeah, come
I
back.
went last summer. I love UK.
Don't listen to Astro. He'll tell you not to come back till next year. He was in instinct.
Tantra, I hate to kind of like brief this, but you have to be off about, I'd say like 1:45, because I got to get me some lunch before I continue the day.
No problem.
I wanna say thank you, Sean. It's nice meeting you. I followed you back, and I look forward to getting to know you in the other lives or in Tantra's lives. But yeah, who else got something for me?
Bhagwan.
Me.
Who
Nice.
said me?
That's Amo.
Me.
Oh, Ma. Yes, Ma. Go ahead.
Do I need to say anything about you, Josh? We people know each other. But I miss you. I miss your lives. That anything needs to be learned from for Hinduism, it's two people I look up to. You and Eternal. Yeah. So, but anything needs to be fighting, I look up to Jack Baby.
Yeah, Jack Baby.
Yes. But for me, like Josh, I see him as a guru. Means like I look forward to that. This one, so he will be teaching Hinduism and represent Hinduism. I hope it is back in your place where you find peace. That is Tamil Nadu. I hope you better be there as a guru. So, but he's awesome. He's awesome. He represents Hinduism way better than most Hindus. And it's not Hindus fault. Hindus back in India, their fault. It's their education and everything. But Josh has put the effort and has learned about it. So.
Thank you so much.
It's beautiful.
But I only have one complaint. We have not met, even though we are neighbors. Yeah.
We'll have to change that. No, honestly, you're right. Yeah, there's no excuse at this point.
So I heard you say earlier you went to dinner with Minnie. What's going on, bro? Do you like?
Yes.
Are you stitching on yourself now?
Bro, I mean, I would have invited you too. I mean, you're the chef, but there just wasn't enough room at the table. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it was really nice, man. I never had that much Indian food in my life, and it was so funny because by the time I already finished my plate, I'm thinking like I'm good, and she was like, "Do you want to go for a second round?" I'm like, "That was a lot of food the first round," so it was interesting. But I appreciate it so much because now when I go to the temple, like I'm so open to trying like whatever they have, and yeah, it was real nice.
Nice, nice. Alien T.
Yeah, I have to go get down. I just came up for 5 minutes. I'm busy at
Thank
work.
you,
Okay.
thank you so very
Nice
much.
meeting you. Nice meeting all. Yeah.
Thank you, Amuchi.
Yeah, okay.
Ram Ram.
Okay.
Nityananda.
Ram 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 ram.
Um,
Nityananda.
Ram Ram.
Hi. Alien T.
Okay, my turn, guys. First of all, Tantra. When you come to Canada, first of all, you guys were too kind with your words about me. When you come to Canada and we go for that lunch or whatever we're gonna have, you do not want to meet me if I have to go through rush hour traffic. I'm just saying
Why?
that.
Why?
Well, because then your view of me might change. I don't like traffic.
He turns into Omni Man.
All right, so Josh, my goodness, what can I say? First of all, I'm going to say that Josh, and actually Jordan said it very well. He does respect his craft, this thing we call spirituality. He is, he reminds me of myself at his age times 2. He's so far ahead. His wisdom and experiences far surpass his physical age. I have much respect for Josh because he has achieved so much in a short amount of time. And all I want to say to you, Josh, please continue what you're doing. Reach out, show up to spaces. You have a lot to offer everyone. I did a little research. Tantra Child's gonna give me side eye on this one. I'm probably gonna I'm probably going to butcher, the beautiful language of Sanskrit.
Okay.
But I have a name for Josh, and I'm gonna call him. Where did it go? Well, 2 words: Ananda and Yovan Guru.
Nice. Nice.
How
Not
did I
bad.
do? How did
You
I
did
do?
well. Beautiful. You did beautiful.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much.
Lovely. Lovely. Astro.
What's up? It's been a while, blissful man. How you been?
I didn't know, man.
It's quite a while. I just want to say, from the spring in which I met you this year,
yeah,
with Pixie, and we had a month like that. We were really close. Remember, like going through that
Yes.
time. So there is that memory, and many more to come. My Pisces, and the time that we are here to grow together, and remembering how open you were, and how we connected, and how we were able to understand each other without conflict, and
Yes.
that goes a long way during these times. So I just want to say, hope to see you again. Come by, and it's great to see you.
Oh, you too, brother. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
love your lives, and you helped me a lot during that time. Some things was a lot harder to digest, but they're being digested even now, and so I appreciate that because it really does prepare you. So sometimes if you're not really ready at that moment, it does seem to go down the lines at some point. So it's going good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Much respect.
Humble.
Josh, my dear friend, my brother, you have
See what she does to me?
you have been an invaluable member of the community and a good friend. So I am grateful for the opportunity to connect with you in this lifetime. And although you won't be doing your own lives, I appreciate the fact that you are on your path and honoring yourself, because it in and of itself is a demonstration and a modeling to the community that it's okay to do the work internally and step away. So I'm grateful for our private connection. Keep me updated on your path. I will be praying for you, and many blessings to you.
Thank you so much. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Lovely. Kalki ji.
Hey guys, how's it going? Namaste.
Namaste, my brother. Vanakkam.
All right, tell me, bro.
I want to just say how much I appreciate Josh. Him and I share a unique perspective coming from kind of the same place, very similar background. And what's amazing to me is us both being in America and us both finding Shaivism. You know what I mean? And so in a lot of ways, like we help bolster one another, but I also like the different perspectives and views he has other than mine, which allow me to expand on my consciousness. Tantra Child, I can't say enough good things about. This guy is a wealth of knowledge. I mean, he's like a walking, talking book. If there's a book out there, if there's a scripture. But what's beautiful for someone like me, you got to imagine, is I'm not good with scriptures. I'm not good with references. So to have somebody like you, for me, is invaluable, because when there is a reference, now I get an opportunity to learn something.
Absolutely.
It's not that I can't or don't want to do the work myself. It just doesn't lend itself to someone like me. I'm a bhakti. I'm a bhakti yoga. I gotta do it myself and put it in action. But if it's on paper in black and white, I go cross-eyed after a while. So to have somebody break it down, and make sense of things continually is just amazing. I also want to take a second to appreciate everybody on this panel, everybody in this community, everybody in the live, in the chat. I mean, think about it, guys. We're everywhere around the world, and I could never build physically this kind of community, with the people around me where I'm at in the world. And to be able to talk to conscious, like-minded people, especially other Hindus who share similar values or thoughts of mine is immense for me. I'm absolutely humbled by the entire experience, and I appreciate each and every one of you. So to have all of you here and to build this community and be part of it, I absolutely appreciate it. I appreciate both of you guys so much. That's all I got to say.
I appreciate you, bro, and I love you. That was something else, Tantra Child. Kalki was really the only other Shaivite that was in the community other than me. Because before, I mean, I don't have any problem with any other tradition, but he does make a great point. Like, there wasn't many already in the community as it was, so there was a really great connection between me and him. So, yeah.
Man, true.
May I interrupt and ask a question?
Go ahead.
Kalki, does your name start with a V? Is this the same person I'm thinking of?
No, it isn't.
Oh, okay. Well, great to. I apologize. Great to hear you.
No worries. I'm honored you would think that I'm them.
And I know who he's talking about. Oh my God, that I never say. But before I go before I go to Davy, Kalki, you and I need to have conversations, because, mind you, somewhere down the road, you are going to be in the same position, the same place as Josh. You're going to be on the round table.
Yeah, I'm going to be there for that for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. It is. I have looked since the day I've met you. I have looked at all the stuff you've been doing. It has been outstanding. Every time I came into your life, you have always been, respectable. You have always acknowledged me the minute I entered the room, allowed me a place to sit at the table, to discuss, break bread, and all these different things. So it would be my honor somewhere down the road, once we could work it out, for you to sit at the round table.
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
Reminds me
that's amazing.
Of the quote, "It's better to be a warrior in the garden than a gardener in a war." Yeah, he's that force. He's like a Kalabadama.
Yes. So we will go to Davy at this point. and then Josh, you will have the privilege to end the live.
Oh, okay.
All right, Devi.
Ma.
Namaste,
Namaste, Mr.
Sitaram,
Leonard.
Har Har Mahadev. How are you guys?
Hi.
How you guys doing? How awesome is that Josh is here? I love Josh. Josh has always been so dear to my heart. I've always called him out of the most absolute respect and love, my Kit Kat.
No
He will
disrespect.
always be my Kit Kat.
No disrespect. She told me the same thing.
No. I never called you Kit Kat. Never.
Ma. And she calls me Putro.
Yes, he's my Kit Kat and my putro. He will always be so dear to my heart because I remember when he first started and we would have hours and hours of conversation. Like he would like go to sleep and take a shower with me. Like he like
Same.
that.
Same thing she did with me, but she talked to me for about 6 months then.
Listen, I know Josh for a very, very long time. He is so dear to my heart. He knows it, and I hope that he always remembers that wherever Mahadev brings him in whatever path he continues in this life. But I always will remind him, remember, not just Mahadev, but everything else. Because sometimes he forgets. I gotta pull him by his ear, be like, Putra, don't forget about you know who. Don't forget about this. Don't forget about that.
Right. Absolutely.
But I remember when I first met him, I said, I do know that you're gonna write a book. I know that you're gonna do great. I know this, and that. And you will see one day you will tell me you wrote the book. One day you will tell me that you did this, and that. He's like, Ma, I wrote the book. And I was like, yeah. I was so excited for him. I'm so excited for him because I know that his journey is just starting.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right.
Right. I feel it too.
All right. So
I will give
Amuji.
you one advice, if I may. Give me 1 second.
Sorry.
Remember one thing about Mahadev. Remember that Mahadev always remember Jyoti. Now, if you don't know who Jyoti is, I'm gonna refresh your memory. Okay, so Jyoti is the daughter of Mahadev, and Parvati is supposed to signify the third eye of Mahadev. She's the manifestation of the third eye. Always remember your third eye. Always. Remember your intuition. Remember you. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
All right, so we have Amaji who asks to come up once more to say something, and then Josh, you will be able to end the live.
Okay. This is the first time I'm ever coming to Tantra Child's panel or hearing you talk.
Because, and it's an honor for me to have you.
Yes, because my priorities, I put it in this one, so I was in that side of this one, and Josh and Kalkiji knows that very well. And why I came up was to talk about Kalkiji. Kalkiji is like I would love to hear him come up for the round table and talk about him.
Oh, you're gonna put me on blast? Okay.
Yes. His sense of humor, like it's this out of this world. That I have to give it to him. But whenever I need something or to talk anything, Kalkiji is the first one I go to. He has been very supportive. He gives the exact thing onto your face, whether you like it or not. But it's with true heart he is giving it, and it's a fact. And I love that about him. I love that. And he is, I'm telling you, I have a very high respect for Kalkiji. Very
He's got
much.
a lot of heart. He has a lot of heart.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
thank you. I appreciate you saying that.
Nice, beautiful, beautiful. All right,
Yes.
Josh. One before you go ahead, Mamu. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just came because I'm coming in 2 minutes, 3 minutes time in between my work. I'm so busy at my work, so that's why I have to go down. But I will listen to. Nice meeting you, Chandra Child and
Same.
Kalkiji.
Thank
We'll
you.
talk. Yeah, namaste.
Namaste.
Deviji.
Okay. Ram Ram.
Yes. Yeah, Rama.
All right.
And
Namaste.
yeah, Ram,
Cool.
Nityanandam, Josh. Nityanandam. Yeah.
I'll end with the Purna mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadashate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sarvam Saguru Varaka Paramastu. Om Nityananda. Blissful.
Beautiful, beautiful. My dear brother, thank you so very, very much to be a part of the round table. You have broken record. You're the only person to this point that we have gone 3 hours, almost 4 hours into this live.
No way.
Nope. You have broken. You have broken. Yeah. No, but that just shows you how much this live was, how much it went organic, as much it went, and a lot of people loved the information that we put out there, which means, my dear boy, you can no longer say that you're not going to do lives. We are going to be doing live. You and I are going to be doing lives because there's so much we bounce off each other in aspect that a lot of people want to sit down on that live and hear. They want to ask questions and they want to hear the discourses. So I will start to tell you, start to shape up, start to prepare, because we are going to be sitting down talking about Shivitism. We're going to talk about Shakti worship and everything in between. So that is a chain. We'll do that in aspect. We'll do it. But I want to thank you for honoring me and gracing me to be a part of this live. You have honored me in that aspect, and I can never repay you for that. You have been one of my best guests. You are the first Hindu, as I told you in the live, you're the first Hindu that I had. You're not going to be the last. All right. You're the first Shivit. The second one is on the panel. I hope he realizes he's coming. He's going to be. He's going to be after. Yes. He's next somewhere down the road, because it will be a thrill for me to more or less pick his brain.
Yeah.
All right. So it's going to be that. So at this point, I will give you the floor to close the live. Anyone and everyone that you want to thank or anything you want to say, the floor is yours.
Well, I just want to I want to end this live. Well, first say that thank you everyone for supporting me, for saying like the sweetest things that you can say about me. Sometimes we really do need to hear how people see us. I have a friend, and she said that sometimes I wish you could see how you are to me, and I feel like that too. I feel like sometimes I want people to know how much they mean to me as well. So I appreciate everyone who support me, and know that I also support you too. And I really do feel the way that I've spoken about everyone who's been on here. But there is a morning kind of pratana that I do, and it goes like this. Paramashiva assumes this body. He's inside, unaffected by all things happening in life, but he is still Lord. He continues to be the ultimate power despite presence, letting everything manifest. Om Nityanandam Paramashivoham. Prabhu, let me unclutch for everything and be in you. And so, beautiful. Let that be your mantra, to be unaffected by everything happening, and to just understand you're on the right path.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. All right. So with that, we shall bring the close to the 6th edition of the round table. I want to thank everyone and my guests for being here, and those who came in to share their views, their opinions, and their love and appreciation for Josh. It was very much appreciated. All right, Josh, again, you are one of the best I have had so far. I mean, all my guests, but for me, it was a pleasure to sit with another Hindu. Seeing that you're a Shivite and I know my way about Shaivism, it was nice to have the discussion that we had. We're going to have much more. We know this. I want to encourage you to continue to do what you do, the impact that you have, right? The people those you call friends, those you call might look at you as a content creator. Continue doing what you do, because you have impacted people's life. You have touched people in every way because of that humbleness, that bhavana, that devotion and loyalty and love you have within yourself for Bhagwan, for God, for Mahadev. You more or less you embody it, you more or less you project it in every aspect. And I want you to continue to do that, my dear boy, because you are one in a million.
Thank
right?
you. Thank
so, right. So we will end the live at this point because I said just know he had to go get lunch. For those later tonight, I'm going live at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's going to be spiritual discussion / open mic. Tonight, we're going to talk about, I'm going to dive in a little on Lord Vishnu and his different avatars and any questions anyone will have where Hinduism is concerned. All right, so you could join me later tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern.
It sounds
great. All right, so everyone have a blessed evening. Thank you for coming. All right, Namaste, Sitaram.
Namaste, Sitaram. Thank you, Tantra. Thank you, Josh. Namaste.
Namaste.